And welcome back to the Forever DM's Thrayne campaign. Just a couple of super quick announcements for us. Thank you, everyone who donated last week when we aired our one-shot. We raised an additional $270 for Extra Life, specifically donating to Norton Children's Hospital here in Louisville, Kentucky. Tonight is our episode of Thrayne, and this is episode 4-ish, I think. Yeah, wow, we're doing a thing, guys. And then
4
coming
whole
up,
episodes in.
I know, and nobody's killed anybody yet. Well, each other anyway. And coming up this Saturday will be a special edition of our Straterra campaign. Bill, do you want to take a quick second to talk about that?
Yeah, for those of you that are following Straterra, we're doing something a little neat. One of our members cannot be there, Jacob. Not calling anybody out, Jacob. So
listen, I'm going to be on a mountain in Utah. Sue me.
You go work on your manifesto. So basically what we're doing is, instead of continuing, because we're on such a major event of going down into the Broken Gate dungeon, which has been building up for quite a while, we decided to step away, but we're going to do a one-shot, still within the world of Straterra, actually doing a recovered memory of hearts. So it's pretty exciting, the characters that people have come up with, and I'm looking forward to it.
It'll be a blast.
Spoilers, Hearth survives.
Yeah, we hope he does anyway.
I mean,
if not,
if how we met him is any testament to it, the answer is barely.
Technically, does that count as surviving?
I mean, we're gonna hope it does.
I mean, it might end like Rogue One.
And on that dreadful note,
you guys have fun with that one.
Next Tuesday, we will be live airing another episode of Shooting the Crit, and then be back in for Thrayne here in 2 weeks on our usual bi-weekly schedule.
And we're still looking for a topic for Shooting the Crit, so if you have a topic you want to share, hit our Twitter, hit our email, hit anything. Just give us some.
Hey, put it in chat.
Just
put
hit
it in
us.
chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, just hit Patrick. Just
Take it.
Write it down on a $100 bill and send it to us.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. Anyway, bringing us back into the town of Skima for the evening. Our group of adventurers had ventured. Excuse me, I have words that do things and speaking. Our group of adventurers had ventured out into the woods at the behest of the gnome Sandy, who runs the Clever Blossom, a herbalist and apothecary shop in Skima on the steppe, the second level of this multi-tiered town on the cliff face. Venturing and encountering a strange vine entity, this living, creeping vine that was consuming life around it, and getting away with their lives and vanquishing the arboreal foe. The heroes ventured down into a cave, a strange cave with glowing mushrooms in it, and this feeling, this palpable sensation of energy, of power. Eventually making their way back, along their journey, they did have one more vision of that strange lupine wolf with antlers in the woods. Mist just barely caught it, and then it was gone, despite Selu's best efforts to go and track it down. Returning to Skima, after a little bit of conversation, Sandy informed you that creature is called a Kestrel Vix. And after some trusting moments, informed you that she had a bit of talent herself in the supernatural, and the sage, this mysterious arcanist that lives in the woods around Skima, probably knew they were already there if they had seen the Kestrel Vix, especially more than once. A few other odds and ends encounters. Jubei nearly starting a fight on the steps, and a small, strange-smelling fruit getting shoved under people's noses. Hey, smell this. And now we pick up with our small group exiting the Clever Blossom on the steppe of Skima. Jubei was interested in returning back to your cart and exploring what may lay in the upper levels afterwards. So welcome back, friends.
Well, honestly, we're picking up right where we left off, noticing that he's not going to be cooking for the party for several days. Jubei would go to the cart and retrieve anything that would go bad over the course of their stay here at the inn to donate to the inn, free of course. Just
Sure.
being
Money
nice.
bags over here.
Yeah. Sugar Daddy Jubei over here.
Yep.
So making your way across the steppe, the small carts and stalls that are being set up are far more lively than they had been the day prior. The hustle and bustle of a lively town seems to be overtaking the town of Skima. As you look around, there are vendors establishing their footholds on stalls, claiming their spaces, and there is a group of laborers unloading crates into Dinguish and Snooch, Haberdashery and Co. across the way. The palanquins. I got it right this time.
Not penguins.
The penguins.
Not penguins.
The palanquins are taking some folks that look like they're a bit more well-to-do from the lift that comes up to the steppe and heading further up to the midden and perhaps beyond. The day is yours.
So we said early evening at this point. We were trying to return to the inn for supper, if I remember correctly.
Perhaps we can get dinner now and then head up to the top later.
These is fine. I did not know how my role of performer would go at the inn, but I am happy to get them early. So I think it means we get to go up to the summits soon enough.
I'm fine with this.
I don't remember. Remind me. I thought we had something we wanted to do with Dinguish and Snooch.
I very much wanted to go there, but they're not open.
Yeah.
That look like.
I don't think I need a hat.
You were told that they would arrive today.
Yeah.
And it appears that their wagons, at the very least, are unloading. And as you look across towards their shop, which is really the only other permanently established shop on this level, you see that they are very, very busy. There is a team of laborers actively unloading this large wagon.
But we didn't have like any other motive besides Mist wanting a hat. I thought we had some reason to go there. I forget.
I think we were just interested. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
there was some curiosity, and Telflin had your Cinder
Yes.
Folk friend from the first little leg of your journey had told you that they would be here.
Okay, maybe that's what it was. But I'm remembering.
There was no urgent or pressing matter by
Okay.
any means.
I believe it was
I
mostly
was-
that they sold lots of different things, and it
I was
was
directed there as the potential source of moonstone if
that's what it was.
there is any to be had in the city.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. That sounds about right. If there's a lot of people still, then Reese is gonna put his hood up again and make his way across the square as quickly as possible. Just uncomfortable.
Sure.
That is a good idea. I will save my appearance for the performance at the end. I'll kind of hunch over with you.
Moon Bros.
And at this time in the afternoon, you can actually see on the horizon, as you are just slightly at the same level as the treetops. You can see in the distance, Nihus slowly beginning to rise. This nearly full moon, as the anticipation of its full rising here very, very soon. Making your way through the crowd, if there's nothing anybody else particularly wants to do, heading back over to the lightened bed, your wagon and horses, Mystic and Navara. Sorry, there was a brain fart there. Mystic and Navara stabled around the back of the facility. Is that the goal to head back around?
I was just going to go ahead and go in and get a table and whatever meager dinner prepared for everybody.
Sure.
Is there already a performer having taken stage at the inn?
As you walk in the large common room, you can see there are even more tables rolled out today than there were this morning, as they seem to be preparing for the arrivals that are rolling into town. The rooms, as you recall, there were 30-something rooms available when you got here, and you can see people hustling at the countertop, trying to get Clover, the half-orc proprietor's attention. And across the large open room, more and more individuals, parties, groups gathered in their own separate tables, and lost my train of thought there. And the single performer that was there the previous night is absent, actually.
Oh, that drunk dude.
I would quickly change into my performance outfit and then head back downstairs and begin spinning a yarn.
Sure.
I would tell of a story of a princess born in the ice who, upon risk of life at birth, had been touched by the moon itself, and having grown into these powers as being and just starting this tale of a ice queen touched by the moon.
Awesome. Jubei, as you head around the side of the building, you see the stalls and stables are bustling, as you would expect with this increased traffic, and your cart sitting there, unmolested.
Well, I would hate to see it molested, but pick through anything that's going to stay, like pork barrels or anything like that, mostly the vegetables. Because we have no refrigeration. Load up one of the small boxes and carry it with me into the inn.
Okay. Easily enough, the barrel of salted pork and whatnot, easy to stash and easy to keep safe, and the few vegetables and fruits you had picked along the way can be separated just fine.
Okay.
And as you head back in through the back door, there is a young man running to and fro on the throughout the kitchen area, frantically overwhelmed. There is a pot of stew that seems to be boiling, and a bucket of water that is tipped over on one side. It appears to be soapy water that he was washing things down with. I'm sorry, tavern's out there. I'm busy. And he rushes and grabs 2 loaves of bread and then darts out the front door, heading back into the tavern.
Okay, stick my head into the kitchen.
That is the scene you see. The young man runs past you as he is struggling to keep up with what's going on.
Okay. Is it just him in here?
There's no one else present.
Yikes.
Okay. Roll my sleeves up.
This is
Here we
that
go.
scene. This is that scene in Emperor's New Groove where Kronk
Yes.
becomes the cook.
Slide my sword very respectfully off my hip and lean it up against the wall, always in eyesight, and jump in, just helping him out.
Okay. Go ahead and make a real quick investigation roll for me.
Let's use this handy dandy link between Astral and D&D Beyond.
Plug.
Plug. There we go.
Shameless.
There you go, and it pops up in chat. That's a 13.
Awesome. Looking around the room, really, really easy for you. You can see, okay, dry goods are over there, wet storage over there. There's a ice chest over there that, or cooler chest that looks like it probably holds fresher goods. Easy for you to jump in. Their system seems to be pretty simple but understandable.
This is good, but we can do better.
Yeah. And so as Jubei is in the back, Kai, what did you get into in this little moment?
So I'm overwhelmed by the people. We're back in the inn at this point, correct? Can
Nearby. Yeah, it's up to you where you go.
Okay, cool. I thought you were talking about the proprietor. Was she outside?
No, she is inside, but a couple of you had specified that you went inside. I'm just kind of coming around to what everybody.
Yeah. I'll wander back inside with the rest of the group. Can we see? Is the kitchen like?
If I might help to like retcon just a little bit of something, like knowing that the conversation with Sandy was a little tough on you, and then like tons of people, and I know you've been like a little overwhelmed with all the people. As we left the shop, Selu probably like went back arm in arm with you as they made way over, following everybody else.
Sure.
Can we see the kitchen from the main floor? Is this one of those things where we can see back into the kitchen, or is it sectioned off and we can't see what's happening with Jubei?
It is sectioned off.
Okay.
You do see a young man come bustling through, very pockmarked, acne-faced fella, clearly out of his league. Little bit of tusks sticking out. You think there may be a bit of a family resemblance to Clover, and clearly overwhelmed. He's holding a bunch of rolls of bread or loaves of bread as he's bustling towards the counter.
Is there space for us? Is there a table, or is this place packed?
Easy enough.
Okay, cool. Then I'll go to try to claim a table because I want to get away from the press of people.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm with him. Absolutely.
And knowing Reese, there's a table along the wall that is easily acquired.
Cool.
Good.
So it seems that we're spending a few moments waiting for dinner. Jubei doesn't really show up. But the frantic look on the young man's face as he runs to and fro seems to settle down a little bit over the course of the next hour. And Mist, I would like just a simple performance check from you.
Absolutely. Incorporating my little tricks of eyes changing color to reflect the moon and rumbling sounds to reflect storms and the ice tribe and all that. And stumbling over my words as I speak them with a 7.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Yep.
Jesus.
New town, rough performance.
All right.
This is a more crowded place than I am used to. I apologize. I need to wet my whistle.
There doesn't seem to be an interest in this crowd. It is filling up, but people didn't seem to come for a performer tonight. And you're just not able to yank them out of their travel-wearied stupor. But after a little while and an hour or so of performance and the party lingering on and watching, Jubei emerges from the kitchen, having helped settle down the disaster that was back there. Jubei, what did you prepare for your party this evening?
Oh, I didn't know I was preparing for them.
Or for the tavern, either way.
Them and everybody else.
Jubei's in the kitchen, so...
What's on the menu for the night?
Well, since I actually have a proper, it depends. What did they have in stock?
Fun.
What?
Have fun. Probably no seafood, but...
No seafood? Ah, I give up. Screw that.
this landlocked town, it's fine.
Awful.
Mountain oysters. Actually, if you're going to feed a lot of people really fast, I would grab whatever chicken and beef we had, and I would do like a 3-meat stew with like a 3-meat stew with any type of like stocky vegetables that they had, like, you know, especially potatoes, carrots, anything like that. But the carrots and the potatoes, before they went into the stew, I would actually pan fry them in spices and then add them to the stew, and then let it simmer.
Awesome. And an hour into that simmering,
basically, it's such a thick stew that like 2 spoonfuls you're stuffed. It's like
Perfect.
The young man who was running to and fro, you learn that his name is Jed, and he is just utterly overwhelmed. It seems that whoever their regular kitchen help is absent today. They were not expecting quite so quick of an influx.
Where are they usually?
Jed likes a bit of a drink, so he's probably down at the wake, getting drunk. He usually sobers up for the festival.
Wait, I'm confused. Jed is the one that's running around, or Jed's the one that's not there?
It's Jed and Jed.
Apologies.
Jed with 1D. This is Jed with 2 Ds.
This is our other brother Jed with 3 Ds.
Jetty.
Mom wasn't too
that kind of day, guys.
creative.
Work with me.
It's all good, dude. All good.
So Jed is the young man. He doesn't actually give the other fella's name. Doesn't appear to be like dodging the subject. Just literally doesn't even think about it. Yeah.
Maybe we should go sober him up.
Well, ask Mom. It's
Who is Mom?
Clover. Didn't you recognize it? And he pulls down his lip, and he's got the tiniest little nubs of teeth.
If we're sitting there a while and I realize that like Clover is packed at the bar and like our food is not coming out and there's no way we can request it, I might go up to the bar and attempt. It's like that scene in Lord of the Rings in the Fellowship. I'm like the Hobbit trying to get to the bar between everybody else.
So after the kind of hour of Mist's performance, things do die down.
Okay.
So at that point, that is when, you know, things slow down and Jed is able to take back over. And Jubei, unless you particularly want to remain in the kitchen, you're able to leave.
I'll help the poor kid out.
You don't feel like things are going to catch fire at this point.
Yeah.
So we wanted to eat and then head up to the summit.
I believe it was Mist that wanted to head up to the precipice. Yes, I know. I wanted to see it as well.
That's what I would. Yes. Figured as much.
Mist, you are joining your party at the table at this point.
I hold a candle up for Mist.
Just one.
This is kind of you. It was not my best performance. Shall we? And I grab a bowl and just start heading towards the door with the bowl, kind of scooping it in my mouth.
Still wearing your performer's garb.
Yes.
As you say that and like grab the bowl. Well, they might not have liked it, but I look forward to hearing what happens to this princess in the ice. Perhaps next time.
I think she built the snowman.
I will scarf down my stew. And
I don't
not
have
bother.
any witty frozen comebacks. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know.
no.
I don't know if we have the rights to that.
Just let it go, Sean. It's fine.
You just let it go.
Yeah. Wow.
She can't wait to do what snowmen do in summer.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I'll just scarf down my stew and follow him out the door.
Okay.
Sailor probably eats like 2 bites. Appreciates that it's clearly Juve's cooking. Falls onto the
Yes.
precipice, ready to move on with the day. Evening.
And when you emerge, the sky is definitely darker. The lamplighters are plying their trade. There are torches and small little lanterns with oil basins in front of them all around. And the crowd seems to be heading upwards. Not much going on the step at this point in the day.
I like the use of the time of day sliding skill effect.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah,
So
I'll just head
are we
right up.
still dealing with like crowded streets, or is it chilled out a little bit as the evening has gone on here, or
At this point, the step itself has calmed down. The stalls all appear to be set up. There are a few people lingering about, but other than the inn and the lift is not in operation at the moment, and there are a few people making their way up, but that seems to be about the only traffic at the moment.
If Juve knows one thing about busy towns, he will keep an eye on his coin purse.
Sure.
So what is supposed to
Reese
happen
doesn't
at this
understand
event, this summit?
well, when the festival happens, there's a series of lights that happen based off of, I believe it's some form of gases that are released out of the nearby
have
rock
heard-
formations and such.
I have heard
It's
of these
supposed to
lights,
be very
yes.
pretty, but I think tonight is mostly just so that Mist can see the moon.
And
Did you take the bowl from the inn?
after finishing the bowl, he puts a silver piece in it, hands it to whatever ruddier-looking kid he can find. Don't take these for me. Those kind of continues.
So consensus is we're heading up?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Mist is just gawking at all the festival different setup and decorations and whatnot.
I'll probably keep my hood up.
Sure.
Seilu's taking it in, but is kind of keeping an eye on Kai and kind of gauging how Kai is doing.
I'm fine. I mean, I'm not comfortable by any means, but
Sure.
I'm coping.
So the switchbacks that head up to the midden, the middle level of Skima, seems to be carved out of the stone themselves, and they're wide, easy, comfortable steps, well worn and well loved. You see a few patches where mortar has been laid to smooth out rough or eroded spaces, and a torch or an oil lantern every so often on the way up. And from the lower level, you can actually see them traipsing up to the next level. And emerging over the rise of the next level, you see, for Jubei, a familiar sight. There is a large cavernous space cut into the rock side, almost like this half-formed cave 200 feet across, that hosts a myriad of banquet tables and stages and seating circles and this gorgeous, well-manicured garden. Even in these cooler times of the year, the warmth of the rock around you seems to maintain them, as this garden wraps in a circle around a large packed dirt ring in the center. And in that, there appear to be several sparring dummies erected at this point, but no one actively engaged.
Is this the same level that like the expansive gardens are supposed to be on, or is that a different level?
So from your previous conversation with Telfin, the springs and gardens actually start on the precipice.
Okay.
And then continuing on beyond the precipice up to the summit itself.
Okay.
There are folks mingling about. There is actually a young lady over near the sword ring, but not actively engaged with anything. Just appears to be sitting, enjoying the garden. A few folks moving back and forth, but the switchbacks continue up, and what's left of the foot traffic of the day seems to wind further up.
Is there a bout going on?
There is not.
Yeah, I would just keep on moving.
Sure.
Yeah. Mist is in full-on Jack Skellington mode. What's this? Just bouncing around, ready to get up to the summit.
As you make your way around, the switchback continues, and it seems to almost go over top of that large cavern. And there are folks bringing these huge, colorful bolts of fabric out and beginning to string them across. And winding your way to the fourth and second to last level, you arrive at the crest of the precipice. To your left, a beautiful expanse of flowers and shrubs and small cultured and manicured trees. And to your right, a gorgeous, well-appointed inn sits with the name The Cashlin Home above its doors. The gold trim in the doorway, the footman at the door, and the clothing of those you can see through the door give you a very, very quick impression that this is clearly where the wealthy stay.
Anybody can notice, by the way, when we get to this like more organic section with the garden, the tension that Kai was carrying in his shoulders and with all the people around, even though there are still people around, he seems to relax a little more now.
He relaxes and Selu literally like drags him that direction, like not even meaning to, just kind of like gravitating closer towards the gardens.
I will be
completely not even paying attention to Kai at this point, just going.
Yeah.
I will travel with Kai and Selu, and as I do, Kai, there was a poet in my homeland who had stage fright. He said the trick to dealing with crowds is to picture them all naked. Don't ask me how. Apparently it works. So just picture all these people, maybe not me, just picture all these people naked.
But how are you supposed to know what they look like naked?
I guess you use your imagination.
I am happy to show you the next time I need to change, if it would help.
I apologize, gentlemen. 1.5 seconds. I have a K9 technical issue.
I feel like Reese would just immediately blush and like hide behind his cloak more.
But just because you look like that naked doesn't mean that they would look like that or anything else. Imagine Jubei would look very different naked.
Fair point.
I'd like to think that I am quite unique naked.
I didn't say that it was a bad thing.
I would like to think that I am aesthetically at least pleasing when I'm naked.
Reese just literally stops 90 degrees and just walks away.
So okay, I want to comment on that. Then you walk away, and Kai's like, "This we all have different opinions on what is acceptable. This stigma when it comes to nakedness in public. I do not understand it."
Well, where I come from, we have public bathhouses. We bathe in front of each other.
Yes, as mine as well. Not the bathhouses, but we bathe in front of each other.
And
I grew up in the caravan. We saw each other naked all the time.
As you continue to follow this trail, the lit trail with the torches and lanterns on either side, the lanterns at this level are gilded and well-crafted wood rather than the simpler materials and craftsmanship that you saw.
We get it. We're staying in the poor section, all right?
At the midden and the step. And as you continue through, the gardens are stunning. You can see the vibrant purples and reds and blues and yellows of flowers. Again, at the tail end of winter, still blooming.
Dang.
And the trail actually goes into the rock face here. Do we continue on?
Yeah, Reese would.
Okay.
With some reluctance, yes.
I'm following the band.
Okay.
Selu is probably the last person to like get pulled away from like all the gardens, looking at everything. Has pulled out their book on a number of different occasions of some other different flower that they haven't seen before. Like looking around, probably pulled a couple of them to press into the book later if nobody was watching close enough.
Careful they do not explode in your face and make you sleep.
I think these are going to be safe. I'm pretty sure.
I'll do that again.
Nice callback.
You see a vibrant yellow flower that looks, in a split second, you're like, ugh! Okay, no, different one.
We'll never look at yellow flowers the same way again.
Following the trail into the tunnel, it cuts sharply to the right. And just a little ways down, you see a bench, a simple wooden bench with rolled towels on it. And a small cavern that offshoots. And a little ways down further on the left, another. And another. And another. And
Perhaps
then,
these bathhouses you guys talked about.
and these tunnels, they appear to be worked stone, but there's a feeling, an organic, almost natural sense to it. It's difficult to place.
Does it feel damp or like steamy
Yes.
in the tunnels?
But not uncomfortably so.
Okay.
The craftsmanship and design of this space moves the air through very quickly. And it is definitely more humid, but not oppressive by any means. And past the 3 offshoot tunnels, there's actually a stairwell continuing up in the rock face.
Perhaps we can come back to this another time. I like look down at my like muddy boots and stuff. We've been through a lot.
I would normally just bathe in a stream. I've never seen. These bathhouses are intriguing.
The humidity does not do wonders for my fur, but the bath would be nice.
It's very relaxing. The steam.
A house just for a bath? That seems very extravagant.
Well, it's more of a cave from the description.
Are these like hot springs?
Yes.
Oh! Well, that makes much more sense now.
That would explain the steam.
Rising up the first set of steps, the side of the rock face is open. And there's a bit of a railing there, a balcony, and you can look out down across the forest floor. And at a quick glance out, you can see the inn, the Cashlin home. There, behind it, there is a large garden with a circular patch of grass in the middle of it, and small wooden bleachers being set out. They don't look like they're in place, but you can very clearly see where they will go. And at that point, the rock stairs turn sharply again and continue up, and you can see the opening above you. Emerging
Finally.
Emerging at the summit, a large manicured lawn of grass stretches out in front of you, as the rock face cuts back dramatically several hundred feet before shearing up again to the top of the bluffs and the Horodran plains beyond. Several gardens with individual trails and their own lanterns stretch throughout the area. And at the rock wall in the back, you can see Colosseum-style bleachers carved into it and a large circular ring in front of it. To your left at this point, as you arrive at the top, the valley beyond stretches for miles and miles. And as the sun sets, the steam rising from holes in the rock face near that Colosseum-like structure and holes in the rock face below you rising into the sky begins to shift and move. And for the first time of the season, the Skiman lights emerge. Beautiful, vibrant greens and teals and blues flash through the sky as the moonlight strikes the steam in this strange, almost mystical feeling array ahead of you.
I will literally stop in my tracks.
This is beautiful. Just staring up at the sky. Mouth open.
Yeah, same. My mouth is wide, just like, bah.
If there's like a clear space somewhere, like in the grass or something, I'm gonna go over and like literally just lay down.
The grass area that takes up the majority of the landing where you emerge from the steps is beautiful and soft, almost moss-like. And you can see you are not the only ones up here. There is a couple a little ways away, and a few individuals and a family, all sitting, picnic blankets out, waiting for the lights, and now enjoying it.
You said that most of it was this grass. What's the rest of the platform, or the area?
So there are several gardens
Right.
that look isolated and independent and aesthetically unique to each other. It will take a bit of a closer inspection to turn out too much more. And then several hundred feet back, as you came up the steps to your right, where the rock face continues up towards the top of the cliffs, there are carved bleachers in the side of the cliff and a large ring in front of them. As you sit there and stare at it, you can see a few small vents of steam in the rock wall. But you can also see a few pillars of steam coming up from the gardens as well.
So cool.
Eventually tearing their eyes away from the sky long enough to realize that Reese has found a lovely spot to go sit down. Selu will head over that way and sit down, grab their book out, immediately close it back, set it down, and then just
Can't draw that.
and just lay down, because there's just nothing. There's no way they could capture that.
Okay, so Reese would notice this and like smile, and then he will take his hands and like rub them together for a second, looking at Selu, and then pull his hands apart and make a tiny little aurora between his fingers, and then like clap his hands back together. I feel like there's other ways to remember.
Selu's eyes go wide for a second. Perhaps you can teach me that one. And like as they're like, they like bolt up, and the excitement, like where they were laying, a few buds of various flowers pop up out of the grass and moss underneath where they were.
We're not very subtle.
Just small little things.
Yeah, little thing.
Besides, it's not like
Jubei-
Selu's actually doing it.
Right.
Jubei finds a steam vent and is like running his fingers through the steam.
Sure.
And when no one's looking, he kind of straddles it a little bit in his kimono.
So Jubei, as you came up to this level and looked around, and one of the little garden sections looks very familiarly cultivated. It reminds you very much of home. There are a few bamboo stands as well, and
After he enjoys the simple pleasures in life of just having a steam lit vent blow up his skirt,
that happened.
I will go have a seat in the little spot.
Thanks for joining us, Marilyn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
There
didn't
is
say I went the ooh. I just, who hasn't stepped over a heat vent, a central heat vent at home? Come on,
Just giving you shit, man.
those are awesome.
Yep.
So there's a simple stone bench amidst this garden of violets and purples and pink flowers, leading back into red, and this gorgeous tree in the back of this garden section with red leaves enveloping over it. And
As this is going on and looking at the lights, I pull out that leather journal with the charcoal pen
Mhm.
and start writing again. And I'm describing the lights. I'm describing, backwards, the lights, the steam vents, the fruit yesterday at the shop, and how horrible it smelled. The events of, the cave, the waterfall. Picking a mushroom into extinction. Actually, write that, picking a mushroom into extinction.
Awesome.
And once I've filled like 2 or 3 pages, rip them out and fold them and add them to the other folded ones in the back.
Awesome.
Hmm.
Awesome. Kai, what are you doing in this moment as you have arrived at the precipice? At the summit, excuse me.
I'm savoring the lights, and then occasionally I glance at Selu and then smile because of how enraptured they are with the lights, and I'm just like, yeah, this is pretty cool.
Did you see?
Awesome. And Mist?
So Mist would run over to Reese and just gonna. This is a nice spot, but I will be there. And he just kind of prances off to the highest row of the carved bleachers, so that he is closest to Nihus when Nihus fully rises, and positions himself to have the best and longest view of kind of the rise and fall of Dad.
Sure.
Dad!
I'll stand up, noticing him. He's going over there, and then notice the gardens, and I'll probably walk around past all of the gardens before I go to the bleacher. So just take a glance at each one.
Sure. The one you see Jubei sitting in has what we would consider a very oriental feel. And walking past that to the next, you can see that they're actually arranged by color. So the one Jubei gravitated towards was purples and pinks and reds, and the next garden over seems to be oranges and yellows, and very what would be kind of classically countryside feel. Simple flowers that bud out of the ground, and manicured shrubs, and simple manicured trees as well. The next grove over is entirely black, and as you approach it, this is going clockwise across the face of the rock. You see several of those black trees that you saw on the lower levels, the lentic trees or ironwoods. And they appear to be gardened around. So the area at their base is mulched, and then grass beyond that almost brings them as centerpieces where they grew on their own. And simple benches set out carved of stone. The next garden area and final is a rich blue. Every color of blue you can think, radiating through these flowers that are laid out almost like a blanket in front of you, surrounded by smaller trees, very similar to what we would think like a Japanese maple, all the way around it, and several benches within. And these 4 gardens circling around the top are cleared away in the center, where the steps come up to leave that uninhibited view of both the sky and the valley. And as you make your way around, slowly circling the edge, you can see that each one of these has a small spring in it. And there is a bench and a group of towels rolled it up along it, and small boxes next to each one.
Yeah, but it's so public and open. As soon as we get in one, we're gonna have that awkward old man come and like try to join us.
Oh yeah. I'll collect and note all this, and then he probably has his hood down now, and he's like a little more relaxed, away from all the people. And I'll go over towards the bleachers or the raised steps, and like look at Mist very clearly, preparing himself for Dad.
Journal out, scribbling, talking to himself as he does it, just like eagerly bouncing his eyes up at the moon.
And like Reese will probably assume that this is a very like personal thing, and he'll kind of just go back to that spot in the grass that him and Selu kind of sprouted flowers. Just kind of sit. He's like happy to just relax.
Sure. As you're sitting there, a young woman comes up, shaggy hair down over the sides of her head, brown and unkempt, very clearly smelling of hay and manure, comes up the steps, sees you all, pauses for just a moment, and then continues on to the garden of ironwood trees and sits there and looks at the sky. So the evening, gentlemen, is before you. If there is anything you would like to do in particular as you sit there and enjoy the lights while they're there, which last for a few hours, please let me know. Otherwise, we'll continue into night and the next day.
Eventually, after like a little bit of time, I'm gonna go to like, I'm assuming there's like a cliff edge somewhere, and not get it. He would never get his toes up to the edge, but get close enough and attempt to like look down the cliff wall towards where they went to the waterfall. And can you see it from here, or like a sign of it from here?
Make a perception check.
So I get to roll. That's a natural 1.
Okay.
Oh no.
The steam rising from various pockets around you just kind of obscures your vision, and you didn't bring your keen elven eyes today. You just brought your human eyes. So
I probably get scared. Turn around.
Yeah.
I'll just watch the rest of the lights before heading back to the inn.
Okay.
Selu will enjoy the lights. Knowing that they can't capture what's going on in the sky, they will take a few minutes to open the book up to like their events section and like things of note, and we'll do a rough sketch of like the seating area, taking note of like the colors of gardens and what's where and that sort of stuff, and just doing a quick record of how things are laid out.
Sure. You're able to easily sketch the summit.
But otherwise would occasionally look around to see what everybody else is doing, but would explicitly just like the sketching happens once every one in a while whenever they can manage to pull their eyes away from the sky. Like they're pretty enwrapped in what's going on.
I will, of course, similar to Mist, when the moon does finally come out, I will enjoy that a lot more than the lights.
Sure.
I will moonbathe, just kind of like laying out.
Moonbathe. That's not a term you hear often.
I love it.
I love it. Anything else, gentlemen?
No.
Awesome. See a contemplative
Does
Bill.
Mist do anything in particular when the moon comes out? Or does he just take it in?
Probably nothing overt. It would be much more of a personal, like,
Okay.
awe, like the look of just awestruck on his face as he sees the full form of his father rising and kind of just dumbstruck and then talking to himself as he recounts his adventures. Clearly being the hero of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Mist, as you come back down the stairs near the end of your time up there, you can see very clearly around the circle are 4 beautifully carved stone benches placed in the cardinal points. And they are a permanent fixture. And they are ornate. And you can see, as you get closer, you can see a pile of moss off to the side. Go ahead and roll an insight check for me.
A 16 plus nothing.
That's okay. It's pretty immediately evident that these are important fixtures of some kind. And the moss that has been piled off has been scrubbed away, and the grooves of the carvings have been cleaned up to shine and show the craftsmanship.
This place is too cool.
Right?
Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
player me is very intrigued. Mist, I feel like, should be still captivated by this interaction with Nias.
Sure.
And will make a mental note, but will not pursue it this evening.
We do have 10 days.
Jubei and Kai, anything else from you, gentlemen?
Just enjoying, meditating in the moment, enjoying the lights, writing in my journal.
Same.
Wonderful.
Yep. Except I'm not writing in my journal. I don't have one.
He's writing in my journal.
I'm writing in today's journal.
What is this? What is? Why do you write these things down? So after about 2 hours, the lights begin to fade. And it's almost sad, the looking forward to the anticipation of the moment. You have looked forward to these lights for weeks, many of you.
It's the first I've heard of it.
And as they have faded away in the sky, seems to be it. Seems to be a couple hours of light.
Did it feel like magical, or did it feel like Saley was explaining, like a very like totally natural thing that happened?
Roll a nature check for me.
I think I have that. much better. That's a total of 17.
Awesome. The lights you saw tonight appear to be some sort of natural phenomenon.
So,
I heard that DM speak.
So Selu, having heard of the lights and the festival and whatnot before, I know this is supposed to go on for a stretch of time, but is there like a pinnacle, like a particular day that is supposed to be like more profound than the others, or is it just this thing goes on for this stretch of time?
Roll just a quick intelligence check. Feel free to use history if you're trained in it.
Apologies, it would help if I had my character sheet pulled up. Good job, Jacob.
Bad form.
I know.
Thanks, Hook.
Yeah, that's bad. That's 4 total.
This is pretty cool. The sky was
Who cares?
green, and that's pretty cool.
Who cares, man? Who cares? We should have saved some of those mushrooms for this.
I have some mushrooms. Would, as we're leaving the summit, would Mist know the longevity of the full moon cycle of Nias? Whether it will be several days or if it will be...
So, the moons of Thrayne, there is traced, which rises and is up for about 4 days in a full moon, just like the tail end of waxing and waning, and it is more of a natural moon cycle, kind of 30 to 40-ish days rolling through. Nihis, however, is like clockwork. It is a full moon for 6 days, every 30 days, with the exception of once throughout the year where it is actually a full moon for slightly longer. 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, he ain't no deadbeat dad. He sticks to his schedule. As Mist is leaving, as Mist rejoins the group on the grass, are we all leaving the summit at this point?
That is up to you all.
I would probably stick around a little bit just to enjoy the moon without the lights.
I would, whether my party goes or not, I would eventually make my way back to the inn.
Sure. So as the lights begin to settle, Jubei rises, starts making his way. Anyone who wishes to join him.
Yeah, I'll join as well.
Selu sticks around until like the last vestige of light has left the sky, and seeing that the other two have probably left by that point, will then go find wherever reason. Oh my god, my brain just completely stopped.
It's that kind of day, y'all.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. Mist. Jesus, thank you.
Moon Bros.
Yeah, gotta go join the Moon Bros. Yeah, whatever they're doing at this point.
Did you
I'll
see
tell you
him?
what I would.
Did you see him? He is at his fullest today. Tonight?
I did.
Tonight.
Did.
And you are just a couple of days away from a full moon.
We're almost there.
Yeah.
He should be sticking around for some time, though. It will be nice to come back and see him with these other lights. These lights are nice. They are not the red color, but they are nice.
I mean, they're very pretty, but I'm not quite sure what they are. You said they were gases, but it seems almost magical.
I do not know enough magic to make lights that big.
Well, neither
He
do I.
like concentrates
moon.
really hard to try to change the color of them with thaumaturgy, and just is completely unsuccessful.
Yeah.
I could try, but not quite that much.
Why would you want to? Why would you change anything of that?
Well, what if I wanted to like reproduce it again, a different time?
Good luck.
What if I wanted to change it red so that when night has shone through it, it looked more like a purple? It would be pretty that way too, yes? I don't know about aquamarine for 6 days.
I've never. What is aquamarine?
Did you not see the color of night has passing behind the lights? The blue and the green?
I thought it was just blue. Or a green blue.
Well,
I believe he thinks that it's tainted moon is what he thinks it is.
Oh.
I just wish I could make it whatever color I wanted. It would be nice to have this power. Father should let me do it.
If you'd say so.
Well, perhaps if Nias hasn't changed it, when he comes to join and view the lights himself, perhaps you should enjoy them as they are as well.
I have never been good for accepting things the way they are. So.
That is a fair point.
Garth from Wayne's World. We fear change.
I will eventually unroll my little cloth and lay out my tarot card.
Okay.
And maybe just draw one.
After the last interaction that Mist had with you with the tarot cards and you being like, sometimes they let me glimpse the future and stuff. Mist is like, nope, I'm leaving, and he goes and walks around the gardens instead.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, here you go. There's a
Thanks.
dorks.
Oh, okay. This card is the familiar. And I'll lay it down. And I'll probably just close my eyes again and just focus on it.
Okay. And about that time, a familiar sound appears to your ears. It echoing in the distance. You hear a...
It immediately, like, almost like upsetting, like, all of my cards, like, everything that I set up, just, like, bolting upright and, like, eyes wide open. Did you hear that? And then I see that, like, Mist is gone.
So, as they are remaining at the summit, Kai and Jubei, you are making your way down.
I'm specifically looking for a post office.
Sure.
Is it not the middle of the night?
Mainly to make note of it for
There's no
tomorrow.
post on Sundays.
It might not be bound by government postal hours.
Yeah, it might not. Yeah. It's fantasy. We can all wish for the best.
Bill, you do recall the conversation you had with Telfin on your way in. He told you that if you wanted something sent out from Skima, as the wagons and riders and caravans began leaving, speak with Christoph at Schemas Wares and Whispering Goods. It is the general store on the floor, on the base level. He's been a store for a long time. He got promoted.
As you're looking around, I start looking around kind of wary-like, and I'm like, are you looking for taxes?
Well, you do have to pay postage at some places, so yes, technically.
Kai looks.
There was suddenly fear in
now.
his eyes. Yeah.
Hi.
Mhm.
As you're walking through cavern, you've only recently stayed in a building more than once, let alone once. The sense of being physically enclosed, physically underground. Kind of weird. And the steam coming out from the vents in the walls as you make your way down through the tunnels and the precipice. They smell familiar.
Excuse me.
Familiar, like. Can I make a check?
That was too good.
So
Too good.
you actually don't have to.
Okay.
They smell like a pond that you visited in a small grove in the middle of the plains.
Okay. I didn't notice this the first time.
As we were kind of talking through with everybody, it hits you like, oh, that's what that is.
Okay. I stop, and is it just like it's coming from everywhere? Or is it like a specific tunnel that I can kind of trace it to, or?
It's kind of an omnipresent scent. It's kind of a mixture of minerals, and as a matter of fact, the water in the cavern, the previous or during the day when you went to collect the mushrooms, had kind of a very similar mineral smell to it.
This place reminds me of a place in my homeland. The smell. And then I'm going to point down one of the tunnels and gesture to Jubei and say, "Do you mind? I want to see."
I'm usher with my hand to go, and I'll follow.
So yeah, it's closest tunnel to me. Just kind of follow
Sure.
it down.
Following it down a little ways, it branches, and standing at the Y in the tunnel, one of them appears to be beautifully wrought and carved, entirely craftsmanship, and the other is a little more natural, but you can see where things have been smoothed out and made more passable. And at the end of each of them, there is a pool of water, and there are several lanterns lit within those caverns.
Any people around?
Not at the moment.
Do I know anything? Like, did I have any experiences in that pool back home? Notably, or
That the pool at the Bamo Lane it was where they bathed. It was where they got their drinking water. It was, that group of Beshma and the seer kind of character that lived there and spoke with you. That was their water source.
Jubei, I probably like. I don't know. I probably look like kind of wistful, like standing in this cavern, just kind of like wistful and also like disappointed. I was hoping for something else.
Jubei processes emotions like Bill processes emotions. He
doesn't.
Do caves make you sad?
The smell, it reminds me of home.
What does it smell like?
It is
Go ahead.
a rich, earthy mineral smell.
Now he knows what your home smells like. You're
Your
doomed.
home smells like dirt?
Sometimes, yes.
Yeah, take a big... Okay.
The two brightest members of this party.
Is there a brightest member of this party?
Ah, dirt. It's a cup of dirt.
We're like the blind leading the stupid.
We all have our special talents.
Yeah. So after standing there a moment, you feel that you're starting to get a little soggy closer in, and looking at the pools more closely, you can see that there's actually a vent of some sort in the rock above it. And that kind of fits with the fact that you saw these vents in the rock face in the levels above.
Mhm.
And you remember that as you came here, Teflon told you that whoever lived here long, long ago harnessed the natural heat of the rocks and of the earth to be able to create this warm town year round, even when the heavy snows fall.
So your people, this reminds you of home. So your people live in dirt caves?
Sorry, this is Derek laughing, not Guy. No.
Juve, bring it the tension with humor.
Perhaps I will tell you of them. Would you like to take a dip, or shall we return to the inn?
I just start on rope. Just roving. Sure, why not?
Cool. Same, yeah, I very unabashedly.
So, Jubei, of note, you see that Kai is covered in those dots of tattoos around his body, or
Dots and
markings
lines.
of some sort. And the water is incredibly warm and incredibly relaxing.
About to be warmer.
I just want a hot tub.
And the aches of your day begin to wash away, and it is a luxury that I don't think Kai has ever known. That's the feeling of climbing in a hot tub for the first time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When Jubei
Magic.
disrobes for the first time, there's like a hint of shame about him revealing all his red scales, but then he kind of a look of realization that he's somewhere different. So he just kind of revels in it.
Everything is new to Kai, so he's just like...
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Everything
So
is
back
new.
up on the top, as the combat bros are doing their thing, back to the moon bros.
We're in the sauna together, yeah.
that whistle sound occurs, and you look around. Don't see anything.
I don't see anything. I will quickly pack up my stuff, my little cards into my bag.
Anybody have the thaumaturgy spell? Do it back.
Did you hear it?
I'm over in a garden.
I look at Selu. Did you hear the whistle?
I mean, Selu probably did if it was out there, unless it wasn't audible to them.
Selu, you did not hear it.
I didn't hear anything.
Is there anyone else on the top of the plateau with us?
There is a young lady covered in dirt from a day's work, smelling of manure and hay. There is a small family that is packing up their things. And there is a couple that is making their way towards the stairs, very, very well dressed, wearing threads and fashions that you've never seen.
I don't care about them. Whatever. Lame.
Damn yuppies.
Yuppies. Oh man, would I do this? I'm gonna cut my hands together like I'm gonna shout, and I'm gonna minor sound of that whistle like loudly.
You're gonna what? I'm sorry?
Minor illusion. The sound of that whistle like loudly.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Okay. You project it out, and there's a strange look from the young lady still wearing the worker's garb.
Mhm.
And Nobody else seems to pay any mind.
I'll like put my hand. Sorry.
You
Nothing.
nothing.
As soon as he makes that sound, Selu would have heard the sound back in the cave, right?
Correct.
Mhm.
Okay. As soon as he makes that sound, Selu goes, "Oh, that sound! You heard it!"
Yeah, I heard it, and it was like close. I swear. But it was after I read my cards, though, so maybe I'm just seeing things or hearing things. Maybe we just need some sleep. Maybe I need some more of that stuff. What do they call it? Coffee? That stuff.
Dirty bean water.
Dirty bean water.
Bean tea.
Yep.
I guess we should collect our friend and head home. Or head back.
Looking around for the first time and realizing that like the rest of them are gone. Oh,
Right.
Right. I'm assuming Mist is probably not terribly far off. He's probably still in view up on top, and he hasn't been gone for very long. So seeing Mist, we'll kind of start heading that direction. But where on earth did Jubei and Kai go?
I figured that they just left when the lights were done.
Just hear echoes in the cavern. Marco!
I figured they went back down to sleep.
I guess so.
Mist is in the blue flower garden with his tail unwrapped, and he's checking which flowers are closest in hue to his hands versus his tail fur. He's picking a couple to match and getting ready to press them.
Awesome. So as the three of you gather up and begin to leave, there is a figure that passes you on the stairs coming up. Hood up and down low, dark leathers on beneath, and very clearly a blade of some sort at their hip. As they pass you, almost bump into you absent-mindedly, not paying attention. Excuse me. Skirt their way around you and continue on.
Who did they bump?
Yeah.
You.
I immediately check my coin purse, as I have been around charlatans.
Reese wouldn't know any better.
Started from the bottom, now I'm here. I'm not trying to go back.
Now, there's a moment where the hood turns towards you, but again, still low. You just see kind of the lower half of this face as you're checking your purse. Kind of scoffs and turns and continues up the stairs. It was a very slender face.
If you had seen what I have seen, you would not scoff. And I scoff back at him. And just kind of shake my head as I look at Reese and Saloons.
I'd rather not start a fight. We've just got into town.
It has been an awfully lovely evening to end one like that.
But it is, and like I'll wait for him to like move up a little further. It is a bit odd that someone is going up after the lights, right?
It is strange for that person to also be dressed so darkly and wearing a blade.
Do you want? I like look at Mist and I'm like, raise my eyebrow. Do you want to follow him or them?
And do what? Watch him stab somebody with that blade? No, I do not need to be anywhere near shady people with blades. I like to be the shadiest person with a blade around.
That's a fair point. Okay. The player
So
Patrick is internally screaming, but Reese is like, yeah,
I look over at Kai. You know, I hope the party does not get into any shenanigans when we're not around.
oh. Bad news bears. Yeah, we'll head back down.
I study your how built is Jubei? Like, are you cut or?
Actually, no. He's more lean than anything else.
You swole, bro?
Yeah.
Did you even lift, bro?
I'm checking out your body, no homo.
So HMO, what?
No, this is a PPO plan.
Anyway, so I don't know what I was
On a
saying.
scale to 1 to 20, his strength's about a 15.
Okay.
I mean, if you're going to put a number to it.
Yeah, I mean, we have to put a number on things like that.
He's read the Swoley Bible at least once.
Swollen Bible. No, get out.
Jesus.
It's mostly in his legs. He has like a medieval contraption called, a Thyish Master.
And moving on.
Yeah.
God, please, can we?
You make that movie.
So we descend.
Oh my god.
Into madness. Yes.
Yeah, into madness.
That's
That kind of night,
D&D.
y'all.
That is D&D.
D&D.
Mm-hmm.
So you make your way back to the inn, since you two don't seem to be making a whole lot of noise. They wouldn't necessarily notice you unless you are cutting up and raising your voices.
No, we would be
around.
talking in a normal voice, so.
Playing around, splashing in the water.
No.
Plain chicken.
Giggling. It's fine. So, returning to the inn on your way back down, seeing all the same familiar sights, the torches are getting low, and no one appears to be coming out to tend them at this point.
That's a traditional get the hell home.
Yeah.
Make a super quick perception check as you come out on the precipice.
All of us? Or just Reese?
Way better than before.
The three of you.
Unnatural 20.
Okay.
Dirty.
Damn.
I believe 15. You said perception check? Yeah.
Yes, please.
14.
Dirty.
14, sorry.
Okay. Miss, what was yours?
16.
Okay. So, Reese, you hear from the level above you, from the summit, very faintly in the crisp evening air, ting, 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 ting.
From like the very, very top,
Ting,
or the
ting,
one just
ting.
above the end?
So just above, so the precipice is number 4. You hear it
Right.
from number 5, where you
Gotcha.
just were.
Wait, we just were, yeah.
Yeah.
Those damn steel drum magicians don't know what time of day it is.
Is it?
It's very faint, and it's not scattered rhythmic.
Sounds like that shady person with the blade might be practicing. Maybe? I don't know. I'm not sure.
Trying to, like,
The only
thinking back on, like, what else would have been up there. Do you think he's fighting the trees?
Or that woman.
Well, I hope the trees instead of her.
Well, it doesn't sound like anyone's in danger. It just sounds like it's got a rhythm, like one of Mist's songs.
If there's that much confabulation, then there is certainly someone in danger.
Listen, I'm as curious as anyone else here. If you want to head back up, I'm game.
I do.
Let's go.
I-
Sailor like immediately turns and heads back up.
Okay.
Mist will follow, looking at his performance garb and just kind of shaking his head.
That is getting damp as you go through this tunnel.
Yep.
Yeah.
My fur is
Steam
getting
clean.
frizzy.
So on your way back up, you pass the family that is descending, and you also pass that young lady who's in the worker's garb who smelled manure.
Okay.
And you get to the top, and a very odd sight, actually. Weaving amidst the ironwood trees is a woman, stripped down to a simple wrapping around her torso and chest, simple pants, you can see a cloak and leather armor cast aside, and some nicer things as well. And almost as if a dance, she is moving through the ironwood trees and in a rhythm, striking a repeating rhythm, as you can see as she spins and twirls and dives betwixt the trees. She is repeating the same motion over and over and over again. And a moment passes and the rhythm changes and she begins to work another maneuver, diving and pirouetting between this small grove of ironwood trees, and seems to be incredibly focused on what she is doing.
Okay.
And her head snaps towards the lot of you and it goes right back to what she was doing.
Oh. Okay. I was gonna hide myself.
Does the dance or movements reflect any of the cultures that I'm familiar with?
Roll a history check.
I was also gonna ask, does it look like similar to what Jubei does, or just?
It does not.
Yeah.
Total of 8.
Okay, you're not sure.
I have a +5 to history. This is lame.
Do we want to talk to them?
Just to follow in on that line of questioning, does this look like any kind of these sort of movements that would have potentially come from the elves? Like anything that my mother would have taught me or anything along those lines?
Does look vaguely familiar.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Bill knows what that is.
Oh yeah, Patrick knows what it is, but Reese has only seen one sword fighter so far, and it's a giant dragon guy who cooks.
Cooked well.
Is Naya still up at this point, or are we setting at this point? Okay.
But it was clear that they noticed us, right?
Yes.
Okay.
They rolled a natural 20 on their perception check.
Well, I had an idea, but
So, Mist is going to move into the center of the circle where the kind of the clearing part is, and just kind of watch this dance of swordplay going on, and see if he can imitate any of the dance aspects of it, as he performance-esque kind of mirrors her movements, or does his best to.
Okay, roll a performance check.
More of dancing in the moonlight. That is an 18 on the die. Plus
dang.
Nice.
4, 22.
Okay.
We're just sitting there watching.
The movements are hard to follow. It feels like for every 2 steps they take, you're stuttering for a single step. This is almost like a lifetime of practice. But you start to get the basic flow.
His footwork is incredibly challenging, but it is a beautiful dance. Because I stumble every once in a while.
Selu would like to get close enough to determine whether or not this person has a tattoo on their forehead.
Okay, make a perception check for me.
God, I am getting bit for every good roll I have had for the last 3 sessions. That's the third 4 that I have rolled tonight. So that is a total of 9.
It is really hard to tell. They are moving very, very quickly, and even with your dark vision, they are still very shadowed amongst the ironwood trees.
Okay. I would make it a point to not interrupt them, but tries to at least determine whatever they can to hopefully try and identify them again in the future. Should they see them about somewhere else.
You are able to pick out very dark hair, very slight build, pale skin, female. No real identifying marks. You can tell the tunic that is laid out is finely made, just kind of at a distance. You're like, okay, that's not off the shelf. Like, that's not department store, but that's all you got.
What's
Hey,
the
you can
department store?
pick out a tailored suit at a distance. Like,
Right. Reese will walk up to Selu and notice, like, that they're very focused on this performance, and just put a hand on them. Perhaps we should just leave them and give them some space. And I'd probably say it loud enough for them to hear as well.
Well, I didn't plan to interrupt. Just curious.
Aren't we all?
Always. But I agree. Perhaps we should find our friends.
So, with the kind of interlude of returning back to the top, as you descend back down, how long do the fighter bros want to stay?
Battle Bros.
How long does it take you to get Perny in a hot tub? Like 15 minutes, 20 minutes?
Yeah,
Like 30. Yeah.
Scales, never.
True.
It's true.
When Kai
scales and fire resistance.
when Kai starts to get Perny, he'll be like, okay, let's get out.
About that time, Juve stretches, and you just see like 6 little bubbles come up. Yep, time to go.
He was asleep. Like,
See, but when the bubbles pop, it's humid, and so that smell just hangs in the air. You dig.
Yeah, worst.
So, drying off and gathering your things and putting your clothes back on, you actually exit the tunnel right about the time your friends come by.
Mist would have made it a point to, as the kind of dance stopped, and we are leaving. He would take like a sweeping bow towards the swordswoman as if they had just been dance partners, and then he will follow them down.
Okay.
What is that smell? These tunnels have gotten more dank.
Technical
There's
term.
apparently a sulfur deposit beneath the tunnels.
And so,
that would make sense. It was similar to that on the volcano island that I forgot the name of right now, even though I should know.
so
Volcano Island, I believe they had a game.
So it's a game with pieces. So as you descend back down, you see very similar sights, familiar sights from your trek up. But as I said, the torches are all gone out at this point, just the oil lanterns remaining. And continuing down from the precipice to the midden and back to the steppe. It's fairly quiet, actually. Doesn't seem to be, if there was any performance going on in the Cashlin home, it was quiet, or the doors were thick enough that you couldn't hear. And there doesn't appear to be anybody out and about in the midden. And as you continue down onto the steppe, it is quiet. You see the familiar stone circle in the center. There is a light in the upstairs portion of the Clever Blossom. Small candle or something burning. And also in Dinguish and Snooch, Haberdashery and Co. And making your way back to the light in bed. It is actually fairly wound down for the evening. much like a con. For those of you who've been to conventions, everybody's bracing for the partying to come. You know, getting your sleep now because you're not going to later.
Getting hydrated. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It's Thursday and
absolutely.
Friday night.
Yep. And unless there's anything in particular anyone would like to do, we will pass the night.
Jubei would like to go to bed. He's had a bath. He's warm. It's bedtime.
Perfect. It's the perfect time.
Yeah. Wonderful. And in the morning, as you all rest peacefully, in the morning, the town comes alive, and you are all greeted with the sounds of a classic village town. There are people moving about, and you can hear either oxen or horses outside moving by. It is much more busy, almost an immediate difference today than it was the previous morning.
Oh man, did anyone get that coffee yet? Any of us? No? Okay, I will get the coffee. Reese will get up and groggily go downstairs.
And actually, in the common room, you see Telflin there, chatting with Clover, and sees you. Oh, friend. Good.
I'm like,
Oh, okay. One for him, please, Clover. Right, you are.
I'll sit with him. Sorry,
How-
I'm not much of a morning person.
That's okay. How are you? How is Skima treating you?
It's a big town, actually. Surprised there's so many people here.
Clearly, you've not been very many places.
Well, considering I'm from Lostran, there's not a whole lot of places.
No, there's like 3 or 4 towns left, I guess.
If you'd call them that, yes.
Sad. You know, I
It's
heard
different.
from someone in Fordale that there was a new homestead somewhere south of Lostern with refugees. Can't remember where it was.
But you didn't hear any names or anything.
Not that I recall.
But it would be
Right.
south of Fordale. That would be...
No. It was south of the river.
Oh.
Along the southern border of Lostern. Some folks got out the River Evrian.
Right.
I think it was closer to the plains than it was to the sisters. Fordale, the sisters.
Fair enough.
I don't remember rightly. Big world. Lots of people.
I thank you for the tip. It's hard to find anybody from Lostran that's not of the
A bastard.
bandit variety. Yeah, bastards.
Yes. I made a trek through there with a merchant caravan once. Never do that again.
No, I would not.
Ever.
Not ever.
No. No, just take a ship. It's faster. It's more expensive, but it's worth it. It's fine. Oh,
I imagine it was much
thank-
nicer. Yes, coffee, please.
Thank you, Clover. And Clover actually brings a mug to you. Did you want something?
Just like that one.
Did you want some coffee for your friends?
He takes a moment and thinks about it. Yes. Realizing that most of his friends don't like coffee, so he's just gonna drink it.
He's that guy.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll
Probably.
be right back.
About that time, Selu comes down the stairs. Oh, you beat me to it this morning.
Not.
Make 2 of those coffee's juices.
Yeah. Sorry, I just thinking of coffee, nothing else.
If they're down there for 10 minutes or so, Mist would come bounding down, like fully dressed and ready to go. They should be open now, yes? The Dinglish and the Snooch, they should be open. I will be going.
The Snooch.
It sounds like a Dr. Seuss character.
Right? These two strange people with the strange store, I want to go see the strange things.
Can I please have just like one more cup of coffee?
Sounds like a horrible 70s sitcom. Dinglish and the Snooch.
Well, as soon as it comes out, Selu will hand the other juice to Mist and say, "I'm ready whenever you are."
Ah, this is delightful. Thank you.
So, is someone preparing breakfast?
So as you come down and look around, you all appear to be the only ones up and about.
We're the
this
early
morning.
risers.
So, is there person that cooks for them back?
Getting Clover's attention. I don't have anything ready yet. It'll be a little while.
Well, that's fine.
We're a bit short-staffed. I'm not sure where he's off to.
Have you seen him in a few days?
No. He likes to drink. Seems that this year his wife died, and he's been taken to the bottle a bit.
Where does he like to drink?
At the wake, down on the floor.
Would you want us to check on him for you, maybe?
Oh, if you would, that'd be lovely. His name's Edwin.
Edwin.
Just me and Jed are holding down the fort for the time being, anyway. If he's not around anymore, if he left or doesn't want the work, we'll find someone else. There's a few folks in town, and some folks come to town just for the work while the festival's going on. So we'll be fine, but so I'm sure it's nothing to worry about.
Don't do that.
No. Wrong game.
We know.
Trauma. The trauma comes back.
Damn.
That gave me chills. I hate that.
Wrong game. But I'm sure Edwin's around somewhere. It just, I'll get some breakfast going if you want to wait a little bit. It's up to you.
Perhaps we'll be back in a second. I think some of our friends wanted to check out the Haberdash that place across the way.
The
Oh,
Snooch!
No, just English. I think Snooch stayed home. I don't know why he didn't change his name. Anyway,
Probably it's expensive to change the sign.
yeah, I think only the English came this year.
Fair enough. Well, we'll be back in a moment, because I definitely want breakfast.
So
I am
we
excited
will-
to see
Wonderful.
strange things.
Also, looks at Jubei. Thank you so much for the donation last night. It was most appreciated. And your help. Jed told me you were wonderful, and the boy, love him, doesn't know how to cook. So
that is something we can agree on.
if you are interested in helping out at all during meals or really whenever, I'm happy to take it off your room and refund you the money for the wages.
No, it would be my pleasure. And we'll do something to see about returning your cook to his service.
Most appreciated. You can ask for Edwin down in the wake, and everybody there knows him. Zane is the proprietor. If just ask for Zane, he'll know where Edwin's after.
Yeah. Okay. Off to Dinguish without Snoop.
Yeah, again, Snooch didn't come this year.
So he's snoochless.
She pauses, looks at you. Right?
Dinguish and Schema without a snooch is the new Dr. Seuss book.
Actually, it would be
Selflin has been sitting back, just observing this whole
Dinguish
conversation.
Sand Snooch.
No sand, no. You're welcome. Telflin, if you go see Dinguish, tell him I said hello. I've already made my delivery to him, so.
Did you make your delivery to I'm blanking out.
Sandy.
Sandy.
Yes, last night actually.
I was just making sure she was mentioned.
Caught her after she'd closed, but when first get to town, like to rest a bit. It's been a long trip. I need to make my way up to the Cashland today to deliver some mead. But after that, only one more delivery.
And what will you be doing for the rest of the trip?
Selling odds and ends here and there, enjoying the festival. By the end of it, though, I'll be picking up some freight or goods, and I have a few barrels of mead tucked away that I'll be taking on with me to wherever I go next. Thinking about heading to the Sisters. Maybe.
I've not been there in some time. It would be a nice trip. Perhaps if we are not doing anything, we could go with you again.
Perhaps.
I'd be glad to pay for your services. If not, I'll be traveling with a larger caravan.
I mean, after last time, I wouldn't blame.
Yes, well, it happens. So,
and I both. Like, I'm just ready to go.
I groggily keep up with him.
Wonderful. So, heading across the square, vendors are beginning to set up, and you see there are stalls with fruit and vegetables, and there are some. There's an old man sitting there carving walking sticks, and all manner of strange little small town kitschy vendors in these open air stalls that are beginning to set up for their day. And you see Sandy opening the door to the Clever Blossom as she waves at you, sets out a sign, and heads back in.
Good morning, Sandy. Very upbeat, very ready to be going.
Good morning. And she turns back around and goes back in.
I will hold up one of my extra cups of coffee. Would you like one of these, perhaps?
I'm good.
Oh, tea. Right. Sorry.
As this is going on, do I spot the general store that they were talking about?
So the general store you saw on your way into town, it is actually down on the lower level. So it is on the floor, and you are currently on the step, which is level number 2.
I need to go to the floor anyway.
So, Mist, as you are bounding excitedly across, almost forgetting where you are, you run across the circle and the big stone circle in the center, and bound up the stairs to a beautifully glass-paned door that's been set out. It was boarded up before, and still crates and boxes set inside, but the door is ajar. It is slightly open, and you hear bum 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 coming from the door.
Delightful, another morning person, and I just like swing open the door.
So, Selu would have run out with Mist as well, but seeing that the center area here is open in like the center circle, will take a minute to quickly like walk the spiral again and see if anything weird happens like last time.
Okay. No odd occurrences.
That's a shame. Oh well.
Is it
then
familiar?
onto the store. Like,
is it familiar to the circle on the top level on the summit?
At this point, you have been to every level. And with the exception of the precipice, you have seen a large designated circle on every level.
Right.
I thought we could see the one on the precipice too. It was just in the back of the cash line.
Correct.
From the overlook. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So there is a large circle on every level. And the smallest of which is maybe 20 feet, 30 feet across. And the largest, the smallest of which is maybe 30 or 40 feet across, and the largest being almost 50 on the upper level. So they're not all uniform by any means, and they're all designed differently.
Okay. Curious.
So do you throw open the door?
Oh yeah. Hello.
Oh, good morning. And before you stands a huge orc. A full-blooded orc in a well-tailored suit with spectacles on his nose. His hair gently combed and slicked to one side. A perfectly shaven face and a small earring in his left ear. Gorgeous waistcoat, trousers, gentleman's shoes with a shiny buckle on them. Good morning! I see you're my first customers of the festival. It's nice to see you. I haven't set up yet.
Oh, that is delightful. I am just happy to be first. I was very much looking forward to you opening your stores. I heard you had weird stuff. I am looking for very weird stuff.
Well,
you have weird stuff?
Now that you're here, absolutely I sure do. You are quite strange, you are.
I have been called worse.
I'm Ebenezer Dinglish. Nice to meet you.
Sir Messelthar, of Her Majesty's Queendom, and I just kind of bow and shake his hand.
I mean, yeah, this big mitt of a hand extended towards you. Sir Misselthar, are you? Well, it's a pleasure. Come on in, your lordship, I guess. I haven't been there.
You can call me Mist. Most people just call me Mist.
But I just met you. How am I going to miss you?
No, with a T. Mist.
Oh, not missed.
No, you
anyway,
when I
come on in! And he turns and heads back into the shop. And your first time in the shop, the walls are lined with all sorts of racks and hangers, and they are all, you see these cloths that have been pulled off the walls and are just piled on the floor. And he's opened a crate. And out of said crate, he pulls a very, very fine hat. A large, wide felt hat with a big feather coming off of it.
Oh, man.
And he places it up on the wall. And the next thing that comes out is a beret of sorts with a tuft of fur. Looks almost like wolf pelt that he puts up. How can I help you? Again, I haven't set up yet, but it is sure glad to see you. You've not been to the festival before. You stick right out, I'm sure I would have remembered.
No, this is my first time. I did not know this festival existed until about a month ago.
Well, welcome. It is my favorite festival of the year. And you've got friends. Please come in.
I look back and, I do. And I wait for you guys to come in.
Selu probably walked the spiral and still made it to the door before Reese did. So.
Kai and Jubei, are you coming as well?
Yes.
Dragonborn. It's fascinating and one of the Trojan. Pleasure to meet you. And you, I assume, a Pterandyne, but that's a little funny. I don't recognize that one, but
That's because it's
no clue
night.
where you're from. And you
I'm
are
just-
just a gem looking at Mist. You are quite unique. I don't think I've ever seen anything. Excuse me, anyone. I apologize. Quite like you.
He's bluish.
Don't encourage him.
Double D, double die.
Bum, 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 bum. And he goes and opens another crate. What can I do for the lot of you? I'm still unpacking. How awful of me, customers, and I'm still unpacking.
Do you need help? It would give me a chance to look at what you sell.
No offense intended, but we did just meet. I'm sure it will be a fruitful and delightful friendship. But we did just meet.
That's a fair point.
Okay.
So,
Uh,
anything in
I like-
particular you're looking for? And as he cracks open this other crate, he pulls out a steel buckler and hangs it on a hook on the wall. And he reaches in and pulls out a belt of daggers and hangs it on a hook on the wall that looks like it's
Got like
designed.
everything.
I love the assortment. Yeah.
And then a vial of some sort of viscous fluid, and he slides it down on this rack that's built into the wall that holds vials.
Are these all coming from the same chest? Because he doesn't seem that very organized.
Good eye. Bum, bum, bum. Again, anything in particular you're looking for? I'm sure it's around here somewhere.
And Miss is sitting there, like, boiling with anticipation, but, like, looks to you all to see if you have anything you want to ask him before he just pounces on this guy.
And as you wait, he's opening this long, thin crate. He cracks it open and he pulls out a longbow that is wrapped in gentle deer hide, a real thin buckskin leather. And he unwraps it and puts the buckskin back in the crate and puts the longbow up on a rack. And
So you deal in weapons.
sir, I deal in the essentials of life.
After our
Oh.
trip here, I would deem that essential. Yes.
And then he pulls a fabulous purple cloak out and hangs it on the wall where the hats are. And you notice the clothing's on one wall, everything else is on the other.
Of course.
It's like a Japanese shop.
Perhaps you have something I am looking for. I could use a shield, a light one, for horseback.
Shield.
Hmm.
For horseback.
Perhaps a buckler.
He says light shield, and Reese is over there looking at the buckler and picks it up. Like really heavy for him. He's like, not that one.
Well, there's that one. There's another one here somewhere. It's a bit finer craftsmanship, but that's a pretty standard little guy there. It'll keep you safe. I don't know. That's Snooch's job. I don't deal with that. And he pulls out a fine brocaded doublet from the same box where the longbow came out of.
Mm-hmm.
And goes over and slides some dowels through it, hangs it up on the wall very daintily. It's this odd juxtaposition. This big, almost 7 foot tall, full-blooded orc, big jaw tusks, being dainty with clothing.
I dig it. Also, Reese wouldn't know any better. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's an orc. Cool.
That's what orcs do.
Yep. Well, there's that buckler there. I think I have a full-size shield around here somewhere. Or
You mentioned Snooch. Is he not going to be here?
No, I was a bit under the weather. He's getting a bit old and doesn't like to travel as much. But come see us back in Kilband. It's one of the. Are you well traveled? Do you know the sisters?
No, who are they?
Well, they are the 3 gems of the
Beat me to it.
coastline. The sisters, the Free States of Fordale. One of them, the largest, is called Kilband, and that is from whence we hail.
Like halfway through to saying that, Kai's face kind of falls as he realizes that it's a place and not people.
Didn't Teflon say something about the sisters?
No, Teflon. Toklis is a wonderful lad. He does some varying and some transport for us from time to time.
He actually told us to come over and meet you. He was
Oh,
yesterday.
wonderful! And he flips open a small chest, and out of that chest pulls several small metal objects out, and then puts them in a glass case at the far end of the room, the furthest, all the way to the back. He turns around and comes back, closes the chest, puts it back up on the counter. And you can see there's a bit of method to this man's madness, but it's hard to keep track of. Like, he takes one thing out of a box, closes the box, puts the box on top of another box, opens the box he just uncovered, takes something out of it, brings the other box back down, and then opens the box that he covered on top of. Like, it's a little chaotic trying to keep up with good old Ebenezer Dinguish.
Big ADHD.
Again, there's a small shield there, and have all manner of random assortment of weaponry and tools and armor, and anything else particular you're looking for. I'll stop unpacking, and again, bit caught off guard. I wasn't expecting anyone quite this early.
I'll go walk over and examine the shield, the buckler. Go ahead, Mist.
So, like, looking around one more time, expectantly at everyone else. He goes, do you have anything of Moonsung steel? Ingots, nuggets, pieces, blades? And just gets really excited as he kind of pounces this question on Dinguish.
No, well, a medallion back there of Moonsong, but the queendom, you said you're from Iona. The queendom tends to try to keep a bit of a monopoly on Moonsong steel, if you know what I mean. But I do have a small medallion in the case in the back. I just unloaded. Feel free to take a look.
Oh, I will, and I just bound off towards it.
Okay. Kai, if you are looking mechanically for a shield, it does require a hand to carry it, and your glaive is two-handed.
I understand.
Okay. You are welcome to purchase one.
They'll punch people with it.
That's 10 crowns if you like.
I look at Selu.
No.
Sailor looks back at Kai.
The 10 gold crowns. To be specific.
I pull out my coin bag kind of awkwardly, and I open it up, and I dump it onto. There's like a countertop.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Okay. There are 10 gold crowns, 4 silver pieces, and 9 copper for the record. but I just kind of like gesture.
And one
towards,
moth.
and I kind of just like gesture towards it, and then look at Dinguish. Or wait, is this Dinguish, right?
Yeah, this is Dinguish.
I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with the currency around here.
I'll take all of these, and he slides the 10 gold crowns towards himself. And you
Reese watches.
And you take this, and he slides the shield back towards you.
That was good.
And it's like it's compact. It's like it's a like buckler like straps onto your arm kind of thing. I'll be able to ride with this.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I mean, mechanically, shield. Thematically, whatever you want it to be.
Great. Okay, perfect.
But it's not like a tower shield. You're not like a
No guy shield. Mist, as you run back to the back, you see a group of rings and small pendants and amulets. And one of the pendants is actually in the shape of a crescent. And it is that same familiar blue, sparkly steel.
Am I?
For clarification, not like a moon crescent, like a crescent.
Okay.
Words and things.
Okay.
And the cord comes off the top.
Okay. Is it exposed or is it in glass? Or like
it is in glass.
Okay. Am I able to get it out of the glass?
There's a small hatch
Okay.
that can be opened and almost like a hawk. Please let me do that.
You said I could take a look. I want to look closer. This glass is in the way.
Okay, maybe this won't be good. No, this will be wonderful. And he goes to the back and opens up the case for you and pulls it out.
So when he has it pulled out, if he offers it to me to look at it all, I'll take out my dagger and tap it and see if they resonate the same to make sure that it's actually Moonstone steel.
Ooh.
So
Clever.
As you do, you pull that out and you pull out the dagger and he's like, oh, you know your stuff. Ding! And that pure crystalline tone.
This is delightful. I was not really expecting to find any. How much do you want for this small piece?
Well, you say small, but it is Moonsung steel. Nigh indestructible in its own. I believe we can part with that for 15 crowns?
15 crowns.
15 gold crowns.
I can appreciate that this is a rare thing, but it is still a small piece, and I kind of wave the dagger and put it back in. I will give you 12, yes?
No, the price is 15. That dagger you bear there is worth nearly 200 crowns on its own. Just for the steel.
Reese just finished drinking his coffee and spits almost all of it right back into the cup.
It is a unique piece. I would expect it to fetch more than that. But I guess if you are not willing to budge, then the 15 crowns will give me this piece. And I walk with him back up to the counter and count out 15.
Awesome. Count 15 gold off and add a Moonsung pendant.
Reese is like, how does everyone have so much gold?
Selu will like reach in their pouch and like hold 5 gold crowns out to you. If it would help, you can have.
No, and he gets like kind of frustrated and pulls his tobacco pipe out and lights it. It does like the Gandalf like.
Please, smoking outside.
Of course, and I'll walk out.
And Dinglish goes right back to what he was doing as you are all there. So for sales of the festival, this is wonderful. And opens up a chest and pulls a gorgeous sheath with inlaid gold and gems encrusted across it, longsword out, and sets it way up high on a rack. And out of the exact same box, pulls out some books, puts them on his counter, and then pulls out a coat, just a simple travel coat that appears to be finely made and wool lined. And if you're familiar with a shearling coat, pulls out a shearling coat and threads a dowel through it and kind of fluffs it up because it was underneath the books and the sword in the crate, very haphazardly packed. So, anything else I can do for the lot of you?
You could let me know if you find any more of these.
There may be some. He may have packed something in here, but that was the only one I know of because I just unpacked it. My partner packed for the trip, so still
I
trying
will be
to
happy
find
to
everything.
check in again.
Absolutely, I would love it. Would you come by tomorrow for tea?
It would be my pleasure.
Wonderful.
Would you like me to bring the tea? I have a friend who likes tea.
That would be lovely. You're all welcome to come if you like. Nothing fancy. Just I'll be sitting out front tomorrow afternoon. It's kind of my ritual with the teapot and some biscuits and whatnot for anyone who wants to come by. It's my greeting to my friends here in Skima.
You seem to know the festival in the area well. Would you know of any jewelers about? Anyone who could take a look at some stones that I wish to sell?
That would probably be me. Deal precious gems from time to time, and the folks down at the Whispered Goods will as well.
Well, since we're off to such a good start here, then, and I will remove the uncut gems that were in my pack. I have an opal, emerald, and diamond left, and request that he appraise them.
Okay.
Oh boy. What if he swindles me?
Okay. Well, a lot of them, if you wish. Catch you about 600 crowns to the right jeweler. Not a jeweler myself. Can deal with the trade. Have to make a few crowns off it, as you imagine. So, if you wish to sell the lot, I'd sell you the lot for, or buy the lot for 525.
I don't have a. You have a lot of very interesting things in the shop here. I'm more prone to trade than necessarily outright just carrying money around. What sort of interesting things do you have that you would trade for them?
Well, I'm sure there's an odd item here or two, as he's looking around at the piles of crates around him.
Maybe tomorrow at tea, then.
Yes, that would be lovely. Bring those back, though. I'm sure I could make a few crowns off them to a jeweler and back home. And, always looking to make a few extra crowns here and there. Keep the family happy and business thriving.
Tomorrow for tea it is.
Wonderful. Anything else I can do for the lot of you in the meantime? Well, I'm happy to make your sales. Thank you so much for coming to Dinglish and Snooch Haberdashery & Co. And I look forward to seeing you all again on the morrow.
It will be good to see you.
Yes, it will. Thank you for being my first sales of the festival. Then
We get an honorary pen.
he turns back to a crate, and out of that crate, he pulls a very ornate, like courtly style dagger and places it on a shelf, and then from underneath the dagger pulls out a chain shirt that looks well crafted. And just
So much stuff.
yeah, so much random stuff. And as
I
I
feel like this guy is like the Ren Fair vendor that couldn't decide what they were what they were really dealing in, so they just have a little bit of everything.
The best kind.
Oh yeah.
maybe. So as the door closes behind you, leaving Dinglish and Snooch, and he resumes his bum 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 da 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 da. The door closes behind you, and Skima and the step lays before you. And I think that's a beautiful spot for us to take a quick 5-minute break.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Thanks for sticking with us, folks, and we'll back here in about 5 minutes. And welcome back. As the party left off, we were leaving Dinglish and Snooch, Haberdashery and Co. Heading back out. Jubei had some interest in heading back down into the floor. What does the party do? The day is yours. It is still fairly early, and breakfast has still not been had at this point.
Oh yeah.
We need to find that guy.
Oh yeah. Maybe we should eat breakfast and then find this man.
I think Jubei feels like we've been doing nothing but going to shops for 2 days, so he's kind of done with shops for a while. This is like a 2-episode long shopping episode.
I mean, there was a fight.
There was a fight.
So.
I set a plant on fire.
Where to, friends?
Perhaps we can eat breakfast real quick and then head down to this place. Find Edwin.
But if we find Edwin first, then he can cook us breakfast. If he is sober. Even if he is not.
Perhaps
I have a feeling whatever condition he's in might not be for breakfast.
I think he might need some of that coffee. Maybe a lot of it.
Probably.
Perhaps a very quick breakfast, or even some on the go.
I'm sure there's being it's a festival, I'm sure there's a stand or two.
Looking around, at least on the step, there doesn't appear to be.
Maybe there's one down on the floor.
Mayhaps. Shall we continue to the floor then?
I guess we can find out. Let's go.
All right.
I will put my hood up.
So, taking the switchbacks, I assume, was the lift. Switchback.
Switch.
Is the lift working?
Looking over towards the edge, it does appear that there is a wagon slowly rising up.
Selu has like already turned down the switchback and then looked back to see if anybody else is following.
Yeah, I'll go down the steps.
Selu looks to be like thrumming with energy and like action and ready to go. Like just
things and stuff.
There's been a lot of sitting around, and that is not like Selu's MO.
Right.
Yeah, I think Jubei's getting a little antsy too.
Sure. So making your way back down the switchbacks, the palanquins, moving past you, there's even a few a few simple carts that can make this part of the journey, at least. It becomes much steeper further up past the step. You occasionally have to kind of step out of the way of folks. You do catch a very familiar gentleman and his two retainers.
These dudes.
Blonde, noble-looking fellow with a really close trimmed goatee. Jubei, you saw them practicing on the step, or on the mid-in the day before, and they passed you on the road in. You see them heading up past you, heading back up towards the mid-in.
But they dress fancy?
In this particular case, as it is early in the morning, they are not. They are dressed for exercise and practice.
They got their Under Armour.
But very clearly they're like sleeping down in the lower levels and going up train.
All you know is that they are going up the stairs.
Okay.
He's asking, do they be poor?
Yeah.
Hard to tell.
They front.
You can ask him.
Can I use my poor spider sense?
Hey, you poor?
Your poor spider senses. Make a.
I cast
just
detect
joking.
poverty.
Just joking. Reese literally does not care.
I cast detect layaway.
Man.
Yeah.
Hey,
So
Walmart layaway. I grew up on that stuff.
Hey, man.
I think it would be it's a divination spell. It's the divine credit score.
Yeah.
yeah, it's actually to divine your karma, your credit karma.
.com.
Oh, praise deity Equifax.
That's
so
one of the other
making our way
horse
down.
Yeah.
Making our way down, you pass a few of the carried palanquins, and make your way to the floor. And arriving at the bottom of the steps, it is a large courtyard spread out throughout the area. You can see there's a wagon kind of making its way over towards where the lift is, and peeking up over the roofs of the buildings, you can see the Skima's Wares and Whispering Goods, the 2-story general store. And then directly ahead of you is the Restful Wake. It appears to be fairly lively this morning. There's quite a few folks lining up outside.
There's a line.
There's a line.
Certainly, this is just a line to get their room. We can just go in and find this guy. He's at the bar, right? We can just walk in. And I start walking towards the door.
Okay. As you
I'll
walk towards the door, you see a sign in front of a small window that says day laborers. And the people are lining up and looking for coin and jobs here throughout the quote con end quote. And the doors to the inn are wide open. Stepping in, it is a much more humble version of where you are staying. A very large room with lots of tables. No stage, though you can see in the corner where there is a single stool set aside and a small chalkboard-like apparatus for some sort of performer. And a young man darting behind the bar, darting behind the bar to grab some mugs and pouring water in them and bringing them around to gentlemen that appear to be quite hungover this morning. It's kind of a strange setup, especially compared to where you're staying. It's a little less inn-like and a little more tavern-like.
Oh, yeah. But I suppose we just ask barkeep?
Either that or I could just yell his name and see who looks. They look like they're in good spirits.
It's not a bad idea.
They look like if you yell right now, some of them might get up and punch you.
Or they might bat out.
Reese takes one step back.
So maybe you should do it.
He takes another step back.
Barroom blitz. As you're having this conversation in the middle of the room, the younger gentleman kind of zips past you. I wouldn't yell if I were you. And goes back and pours another couple of pitchers of water and another pitcher of tankard of ale. Some of them are not so nice in the morning. And
we're looking for a drunken cook by the name of Edwin.
Edwin.
He's a regular.
Yeah. Hang on, I'll be right with you. Grab a seat. And points over at the bar.
Is it dirty?
I mean, there's no vomit on it. It's not that. You're not slumming it in the wharfs, but it's definitely the less wealthy part of town.
Oh, the smell of drunks and desperation in the morning.
It's dive bar.
So the gentleman drops off the tankards and comes back. So you're looking for Edwin. If you find him, tell the bastard he owes me 10 crowns. His tab's come due.
When was the last time you saw him?
Yes. When did you see him last?
3 or 4 days.
Oh.
I think 4.
Does he meet anybody?
Let me guess. Clover sent you?
Yeah.
Nah. Checks out. Bastard.
Fair enough.
Look,
does he usually do this?
I'm Zane. I run the place. Edwin's he's not a bad guy. He's just not reliable. I don't know what Clover sees in him, but she keeps hiring him every year. I guess she cares for the guy or something. But
would you have any idea where we might find him?
He lives out of town. Small cabin, not too far. That'd be where I'd check. You head south along the cliffside. He's 300-400 yards past the last house. You'll find a small shack out there. He calls it his palace. Fool.
Kind of look back to Arigatos. Shouldn't be too hard to find that.
Okay, we've got plenty of time, so why not?
I mean, there's a path. It's not like you have to go trailblazing or nothing. But anything I can do for you while you're here? I guess if you're coming from Clover, you've got rooms, so...
You look like maybe you're busy enough.
It's fine. And he looks over. one of the gentlemen that looks like he's nursing a hangover. Hey! Oh, shut up. I'll be right there.
Telpin told us that you might have jobs available as well, that you know a little bit of everything and everyone. Did we skip the line?
Yeah, you kind of did. That's okay. If you're looking for somebody who knows everybody, you need to go talk to Christoph. But folks come and go. Some of the wealthy folks want somebody to carry their goods up, carts that come along after them, stuff like that. Some of the organizers, the mayor, gets folks to like set up the torches at night, stuff like that. Sometimes there's more interest in stuff, but it's usually just set up and clean and tear down at the end of the festival. We really go for about 10 days or so, and keeps the whole town afloat, to be honest. We get enough coin in and enough trade to keep our larders stocked for the year.
I don't suppose there are any of these more interesting jobs going on currently, perhaps in the direction south of the city, about 300 yards past the last house.
Yeah, collect all the quests before we head out.
Sounds like you already got the only one I got going on out there, and that ain't for me. That's from Clover.
It is fine. I just figured if we could take up more birds with a single stone.
It seems like maybe it's for you if we find the 10 gold that he owes you.
That'd be nice. I doubt he's got it, though. He never does.
Well,
the benefit is he tends to brew his own stuff sometimes, and it's pretty good. So, give and
It might
take.
be worth the trek on its own.
I mean, it'll melt the hair off your chest, but it's fine.
Mist looks down at like his fur-covered body, kind of confused.
Oh no, we water it down and flavor it and all that jazz. He makes the good stuff, the pure stuff.
This sounds like an interesting fellow.
Yeah, that's a word for it. He's a kooky old cat. Decent cook, though. A lot of you look like you can handle yourself. You got any interest in going out of town for a little while?
Well, is this one of those interesting jobs?
There's some of the folks up at the precipice are wondering what a drakekin looks like if you want to go hunting.
Didn't we kill one of them?
We did. Two, actually.
I could show them pictures we ran into two on the way here.
Nah,
I believe we got a pearl.
they're paying for a live one.
What the?
Could we ride it? We
Good
could bring it
interesting.
back with a
I-
saddle.
It seems
I
more
think-
than a little dangerous.
Yeah,
I'd rather
that's what I
not.
told them.
Where
It's
I
odd-
come from, they can be tamed and ridden.
Interesting.
Ooh.
Maybe they heard tales. I don't know. It's a
That
fool's
sounds like
errand
a
if you
bit
ask me. Because, I mean, much like a horse, you got to train them young, I guess. I don't know. You tell me. It's where you come from.
Do I know?
Yeah, your limited experience with them knows that it is a process. It's not like you can go break one out of the field. And you're taking a feral, a predator, and teaching them to be a mount.
Can't just feed it a couple things and then jump on it.
You just drop a pile of mushrooms in a
Yeah,
pen and kite them towards the pen and then close it.
yeah.
If Valheim has taught me anything.
Yeah.
I want to
So
say
you can.
I want to say you even mentioned in one of the previous episodes them impressing at like time of hatching.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe we can find a baby.
That means you got to find a nest, and then you got to find a mama. Good luck with that.
I can tell you right now, based off every other thing that I've ever seen, you don't want to mess with the mother.
Under his breath, Reese is like, "We had a hard enough time with vines."
Run into some creepers, did you?
So that's
Yeah.
what you call them.
Yeah.
Vicious
creep-
things.
Sandy called him a creeping vine. Some sort of strange. She used a word, abjurpatient or something. I don't remember, but yeah, some sort of weird anomaly. Kind of attracted to the area.
Interesting. Well,
Yeah.
we'll go and find.
No, she might have just made up the name. I don't know. I don't really care, really. I'm not going out there.
Probably for the best.
Yeah. Well, if you find Edwin, let me know, or just tell the bastard to come pay his tab.
Fair enough.
Anyway, go past the wares, head south out of town. There's only one trail. It's easy to find. It's well marked. 300-400 yards out past the last little house, there'll be a little farmstead kind of thing, and his little shack's right past.
This should be an easy job, and I just kind of walk out.
Fair enough.
Sure. So, we headed south.
Aye.
Yep.
Awesome.
Works
Finding
for me.
your way out of town is very easy. This is a small town built into a hillside, so it's very clearly laid out. And just follow the cliff, and you'll go south. The town kind of clears away. There are a few small patches of cultivated ground, and even just through your boots you can feel the warmth of the soil and dirt around you. Then it's not too rocky. It's a very rich, lush soil. And this well-packed dirt trail, stone-lined along the way, gives way to a bit of nature. And as you continue along the trail, who would like to make a perception check to keep an eye out? It's not very far, but, it is the woods.
I'll do that if you don't mind.
Sure.
I'll probably be trailing towards the back.
This will be when Reese and Miss do the handoff of the pearl.
I do the Jubei thing.
Mm-hmm.
That is a 16 total, sir.
Okay. Jubei, go ahead and roll a survival check for me real quick.
Do. Should be showing up a chat. There we go, 13.
Awesome. Venturing off, you actually find a small berry bush on the side of the road with these strange little clusters of blackberries on them.
Grab a little hanky and get a handful of those.
The cloth is immediately stained purple.
Grab another hanky and wrap that one in it.
There you go.
Start pulling them out like a magician.
So, Kai, the soft and fertile soil kind of gives way to rock, and the stone becomes quite hard packed, and you're stepping along smooth, well-worn stone, as if this trail's been here for a very long time and traveled hundreds and thousands of times. And looking around, you can even see that it looks almost like game used this trail too as it gets further along. And eventually, ahead of you, you see a small cabin kind of sitting up against the rock face of this large boulder set aside.
Does anything look amiss?
Looks like a cabin in the woods.
Is there smoke from a chimney?
There is not.
Is the door open
Ruh-roh.
or shut?
As you approach, the door is shut.
Well, I'd imagined that if we needed to rush in to help someone, it would have been 4 days ago.
Should we just knock?
Do you remember in the bar when you just wanted to yell his name?
Yes.
Why don't you do it now, before we go to the cabin?
I could do this. Let's take a big deep breath.
As he does that, I take about 6 steps away from this.
I wanna like watch not the cabin, but the area around the cabin.
Okay. The area around the cabin is just a gentle, soft forest patch. Nothing super ominous other than the music. Nothing particularly sticking out. Mist, you're going up onto the porch.
No, so standing just right where I am, I am yelling Edwin's name as loud as possible.
Okay. As you shout, Edwin! There's a bird off from a nearby tree. And that's it. No reaction from the home at all.
That did not seem to work too well, but it was a good idea. I appreciate you giving me the idea.
Also, for the record, Gabe, I have my shield like lashed across my back for now,
Noted.
like strapped so that I can like shrug it off and put it on fairly easily.
Noted. I
Do
think
we
I see
knock
what
now?
you're doing.
Well, if no one else is going to go up and knock, then I will. And Selu will head up to the door.
Okay. So as you step up onto the porch, there's a of the wood panels. And, it's a low porch, just a few inches off the ground. And taking one more step towards... I need a dexterity saving throw, please.
Oh, boy.
As there's a sharp
dear.
splintering sound of wood.
Da, da, da. Good God. I have yet to roll anything reasonable tonight. That's an 11. At a +5.
Thankfully, the sound of splintering wood was just enough to give you enough warning to shift your weight slightly. There's this awkward moment where you're like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. And the floorboards cave forward towards the house into a hole and darkness below. You catch yourself not falling, but there's a moment where your hand goes up on the wall and you feel the wall tilt too. These floorboards, splintered and shattered, appeared to only be the depth of the porch.
And this hole, goes down, way down? Or, how far down are we talking?
So not straight down from the porch. And looking at it, it looks like there's a hole inside the house.
Inside, right.
That
This
goes
is the
down.
outer edge.
And,
Got it.
And glancing at it, go ahead and roll a nature check for me.
That's half reasonable. 17.
Awesome. Looking at it, you can immediately identify that the ground caved in underneath this house. And the porch was setting up on the edge, just held there by tension. And your body weight shifted it just enough that those few boards you were standing on shifted downward as you look into a sinkhole of sorts beneath the house.
Yeah. Selu will, shift themselves back, immediately remove one of their eskrima sticks, and, jab the door open to see if, the whole inside of the house has caved in past it.
As you smack the door, it takes a second because the door is latched. It is hinged, but because the floor has shifted, the door in its frame has moved, and with a solid thwack, you're able to swing it open a little bit. And as it comes back at you and drifts slowly, you can see that an area in the the central room of this cabin has collapsed. It does not look intentional. There is a table half collapsed and fallen in. The boards are shattered and pulled inward into a sinkhole about 15 feet wide.
Pulling back immediately, like putting the stick back and just instantly like wrapping everything loose of their clothing tight and taut and ready to go. We have a problem. There's a large sinkhole. This is, oh goodness. And then like just starts literally like sticks their head down like in the porch area, like looking down into the sinkhole to see if they can see like further in, without getting further into like the construction of the house, but like trying to see if they can see further down into the hole.
I'll come up
dark vision and all that business
beside them, and my eyes will light up. I can see 120 feet.
Understood.
Just wanted to share that. And if I still can't see something, I'll do something else.
So the both of you can actually see quite easily. About 30 feet down, there is a floor. It bottoms out, and you see an iron stove collapsed onto its side and wooden rubble down there. And the rest of you hear this.
Yeah, Sailor would not have been quiet with that at all.
No. Do you think perhaps that we could send some light down there? That would be a good idea or not?
Do you think this is made by something? Well, is this a natural occurrence, or does this come from an animal, a creature?
Do you see any other holes around?
It looks like a sinkhole to me. And they happen.
But it's a bit odd that it would be right underneath the house.
It is
Very
awfully
focused.
awfully well placed.
I've heard of bad luck, but this is really bad luck.
Don't believe in bad luck.
But do you believe in good luck? Kai, with
The magic.
that question, go ahead and roll a survival check for me as you're looking at this. This is the edges of this hole. You can even squat down beneath the porch and see where it is.
I got a 15.
Okay. Looking at it, it doesn't appear to be carved or dug in any way. It's
not seeing any
very
marks of claws.
random.
Well, I'm not usually one to do this, but should we just go in and check it out?
My only concern is if the house is going to come down with it, perhaps. So, being able to see what we can see, can you tell like how much structure there still is as far as the house itself staying upright, or does it look like it's in danger of collapse?
If you would like to, go ahead and make an intelligence check at disadvantage.
Taylor doesn't know half of it.
Yeah, construction and engineering is not really your...
I'm thinking of it more from the perspective of like making sense of the sinkhole more so than I'm trying to make sense of the house. Like, does it look like it could expand, knowing that sinkholes can grow over time, like that type, sort of thing? Like,
it is hard to tell from
fair.
You'd probably have to get vision inside of it to be able to know.
That's a 2 at disadvantage, so
it's hard to say.
Oh man.
I have no idea if this is sound or not. It could go at any time, or perhaps it could stand for a while. I have no idea, but if he's down there, he's either already dead or in desperate need of help. One of the two.
Either way, I'd like to find out.
Jubei, Mist, what are you doing right now?
An accident.
As much as I do like being inside as opposed to outside, and I feel more comfortable in built structures, this does not look like a structure I necessarily want to be in. Is there, looking into the door where it's been pushed open, is there space to move around the walls of the house to get around the sinkhole into the other rooms?
Not from the front door.
Are there other entrances into the house that I can sneak into?
There are a couple windows.
Jubei's tying off a rope to a tree.
Mist will go around and start peeking into windows and seeing if there's one that he feels comfortable going.
Okay. You notice a small, looks like a bed chamber that is separate from the rest of the house, and that appears to be the only additional room.
There is a window into a different room that has its whole. Does it have its whole floor?
Yes.
It does have its whole floor still. If one of us would like to go in.
Is there any sign of him?
It means the house is safer.
Does it look like he's in? Like, are there hiding spaces in this bedroom that I would need to go in to search for him?
It is a small, fairly sparse room. You don't see any evidence of a body or a person inside.
I would like to go down.
I do not see anything, but I will go in this way, and I will meet you on the other side of the door.
So, Selu looks like legitimately concerned for someone's safety in this situation, and like is kind of like getting a little antsy. As they are, and their like emotions are like getting worked up a little bit. Reese, you're probably the closest one to me, I would think. There's a shift in the wind momentarily. And it kind of feels like it draws down towards the hole that's made down where we could see where we saw the iron stove. And Selu kind of like looks back at you and goes, I really feel like we should go down, and then is just gone.
I'm gonna slide down after him.
No,
I
like
don't think
no,
that's
like
yeah.
not like slid down. Like
Like
Selu disappears.
Yep.
The
Yep.
wind picks up and carries down the hole, and Selu
Right.
is instantly down at the iron stove.
If I see you down there, I'm absolutely gonna slide down after you. Like this is
When
And-
Salem
and-
disappears, Kai's like looking around like, did you see? You like
he's down here, and I'm gonna down there.
I just keep leading the rope from the tree, and if the door's open, just boop.
like Selu appears down by the stove and like finishes the sentence to Reese.
Nobody.
Thinking that they're still speaking to Reese right there, and then like
I love this.
all of a sudden I'm 30 foot away, and Reese is coming down the hole.
All right. As Selu vanishes, there's almost like a vortex of wind that appears right where they were, and kicks up the dust, and you blink, and they're gone. And as Selu, as you land, there's this like extreme sense of vertigo.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
shit. Reese, Jubei walks up next to you and looks in. Huh. Anything else you would like to do, Jubei? Please feel free.
I just start tying off, like, make sure the, belt is tight, sword handle's tight, put a little loop so it doesn't slide out of the katana sheath in case I turn upside down, and just start working my way down.
Oh wait. Unless it looks like it can actually slide down in safely.
At this glance, it does not. I mean, there are
Yeah.
rocks and rubble and boards
Right.
and nails.
I'll go after Jubei.
Okay. Jubei, easily enough, hand over hand.
Do I know if Jubei has dark vision? I think
don't know
everyone.
if you do.
Dragonborn do.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I don't know that he knows.
Then a second later,
not-
a knife falls down, and it's like just emitting bright light. Just tink,
I'm trying.
and it
not
looks
to
like
be
it's the white
weird.
light that Reese makes.
Jubei, they're all doing magic.
Yep. He's ignoring it for
Don't
right
want
now.
me in with those people.
Right? I'm not
Those
doing any
people.
magic.
Those people.
Mist and Kai, what are you doing? Mist, you're climbing in a window?
Yeah, I'm going into the bedroom and I'm gonna poke around and see if there's any clues or anything of what he was doing. Has he been in here? Anything like that?
I'm gonna follow Jubei's lead. I have my own rope, so I'll tie off a length to some kind of anchor and
Sure.
proceed down on my
My
own.
rope's not good enough for you.
No, you're just slow.
Easy enough. With catching up to Jubei and beginning the descent as you watch Reese drop this glowing knife.
Pink, ping, 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 ping.
Mist, you're able to get into the room easily. The window is not latched. And climbing through, it is a simple, sparsely furnished bedroom. A simple bed and a simple nightstand, and that's it.
Okay.
And the door opens easily to a hole in the floor. But one that affords you a much better vantage point.
Does like chamber pot and all that line up with the timeline we're looking at of like 3 to 4 days since he's been seen?
There's no chamber pot.
Oh,
Dude lives
he
in the
nasty. He just go
He
in the
literally
woods,
has no pot to piss in.
right?
Go in the
I believe
woods.
it was Jubei who once said, "What? Does a nobleman privy in the woods?"
Callback.
So
Yeah, man.
so I will. Yeah, if there's nothing to draw my attention in there, I'll just kind of look over the edge. What is all of this done there? I can only see 60 feet with my dark vision.
Okay. So the floor is 30 feet down.
Okay.
And Selu, as you appear in that sense of vertigo, the ground underneath you shifts and this plume of dust comes up. And there's a second where there's this crumbling sound around you. And there's oh shit, it's all gonna clap. And nothing does. And as you breathe there, look about, you are in a cavern that the collapse from the house seems to create an edge to, and it continues further in what would be westward towards the cliff face. And the air down here is incredibly warm. Go ahead, Jubei.
As I land at the bottom and my eyes adjust to the gray hues of the dark vision, I want to make a perception check that is smell based only.
Okay.
I'm smelling for death. 4 days? He'd be
Okay.
ripe.
Go ahead and make a perception check.
That's a 12.
Okay.
2 13s and a 12.
The mixed smell of heat and moisture and mineral kind of overwhelms you, and the dust that is kicked up from your descent kind of makes it difficult to tell. Kai, you join them at the bottom. Reese, a moment later, you're able to join them at the bottom.
Selu's probably already taken several steps towards the cavern to see if anything else pops out immediately, but still definitely like well within sight of the group.
Sure.
Selu. I don't know why I'm whispering, but I am. Are you okay?
I'm fine. It
Because you
yeah,
were up there,
it's
and then you were down here.
yeah, it happens sometimes. Okay,
I'm a little
I
curious
don't.
too. That
It
That doesn't happen to normal people.
I never claimed to be anything. All right, listen, we're here, so let's figure out what's going on. I don't see him, so if he fell down here, he made it somewhere. It had to be this way.
Can we step into the cavern?
So you are in the cavern, in the sinkhole.
Okay, so the cavern just leads on, right?
Yes, and it leads in 3 directions. It is an open expanse that you are at kind of the edge of.
should we be
So
worried about
this-
something down here
This
coming out?
cavity beneath the stone.
So when Reese asks that question, and Selu's words kind of refocuses me. So I want to start looking around for signs of life, whether that be what's his name again?
Edwin.
Edwin, or like animals or creatures.
And
Jubei,
realizing everyone can see, I'm gonna suck up the light back from the knife. Little fireflies rise up off the knife back to my hand.
You
And I'll pick
see,
up my knife.
you see Jubei take he's been happy-go-lucky for the most part, like enjoying life, but you see him take more of a defensive stance as he flips the loop off the crossguard of his sword, and one hand on the hilt, he steps into the cavern, almost moving like a predator himself, as he moves past your light so he can take full advantage of his dark vision, looking down the tunnel. And
Kai is
Listen.
crouched down to the floor.
and
I'll snuff the light.
and where I come from, there are legends of demons beneath the ground that reach up and snatch people in their beds and take them with them. They're called Oni.
We have something like that too.
Kai, survival or investigation, your choice.
Yes.
What are you doing?
So seeing nothing up here that's helpful, and everybody else has gone down, he's gonna hardcore parkour down the hole himself.
Okay. Make an acrobatics check for me.
17 on
Okay.
survival check.
17 for acrobatics as well.
Okay.
Twinsies.
Nimbly bimbly, one might say. Easily descend. Getting back up would be more of a challenge, but you were able to get down fairly easily, especially from your vantage point. Kai, looking around, especially in the rubble of the collapse, there is some sort of trail. It is very difficult to identify. It is looks like a foot, like a booted foot, and then there is a drag alongside of it. But pacing doesn't make sense. There's a scratch here and a scratch there and a drag over here, and it continues into the cavern.
Something was here.
Zambies!
Sorry, what was that?
I said Zambies!
Oh. Something was here, but no, it is unclear. There's boot tracks, but something else has been here afterwards, or he was dragging something, or it is hard to tell.
With him pointing that out and Selu kind of getting their footing, so to speak, again, could I attempt to try and make more sense of that, just given the whole like tracking perspective?
Yeah. Go ahead and make a survival check for me. While you're doing that, Reese, you feel in your mind an imprint of emotion, of fear, of danger, the feeling a prey creature would have when they know not to go somewhere because it's dangerous. You feel it just thrust into your skull from an exterior source, and then it's gone.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Saley, what was your roll?
That is a 21 on survival.
A humanoid creature was drug and resisted.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I can. We should probably hurry, but also I have a trick that I can do, and I'm gonna rub my hands together again, like when I do my little small illusions. Only this time, like probably like 100 fireflies appear, and they coalesce on top of me, and then an illusory Reese steps out of Reese as I cast Silent Image, and then he starts running down the path.
Interesting.
I think we need to hurry. So you guys can see him running, and like you don't hear him, but like it looks very real.
Interesting.
I'd rather not run into a trap. I'd rather the trap be sprung, and then we're there.
I think perhaps the sinkhole looks natural, but I think perhaps there is something that definitely drug Edwin away from here. Like look here and there, like pointing to like the drag marks.
Yes,
something
that could explain that.
Something took him.
Jubei.
I don't know how to explain it, but I feel that there is something here.
Jubei, as you are kind of in front of the group, stepped away from the light of the hole behind you, looking around, closing your eyes, smelling. As you open your eyes and look forward, you get this feeling, this gut reaction as you are on some kind of hunt, some kind of predator and prey scenario in your own mind, and you grip the hilt of your sword and you swear underneath your hand, it vibrates. And you all hear, splitting through the darkness ahead of you,
Most of that sound cut out.
yeah, I covered my mouth as I.
No,
your
your noise canceling kind of like.
It was great though.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got it.
I think we should go.
That sound like a monster or a creature screaming in pain?
It sounded like a creature screaming in pain.
Reese is gonna run.
Yeah,
towards
Selu bolts that direction.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm gonna keep my fake Reese 10 feet in front of me.
Okay. The joys of noise
Jubei's like-
cancellation.
You
Yeah.
guys see Jubei, like, as it happens, he does the samurai stance and boom, like
Yeah.
like straight.
There's
And
arms behind
Gonna be in
him.
the back of
There's
your-
arms behind him in like an anime run. What's he got?
And that, my friends, is where we will pick up next time.
Yeah. Yeesh.
Solid.
Edwin got into some shit.
Yeah. Edwin is having a bad day.
Yeah. Edwin's oof. One might say Edwin has hit rock bottom.
No.
And
Get
you're
out.
fired. So, my friends, despite the thematic drop of noise cancellation,
No, it's good.
who would like to lead us off? As I got the strangest look from my wife as she came around the corner, like, fuck.
Screaming.
That might be the note she writes on the wall for this particular session.
Incoherent
Who would like?
screaming.
Yeah, who would like to lead us off on Accolades for the evening.
You gonna roll off for it?
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Ooh.
Roll off.
Sure.
Doesn't matter to me. So roll off, gentlemen.
Got a natural 19.
I got a 2.
Do I get
What's
a
our
modifier?
What's our modifier?
I also got a natural 19 on my first like super solid roll of the night.
I'll let you go first.
Sure.
Sean, what'd you get?
6.
All right, we'll start with Jacob and then go down the camera here.
Cool. So I am gonna give mine out to Mist. I really liked despite the reluctance to come back up with us to sate Reese's and I's curiosity of the shadowy person with a blade in the middle of the night. You still took a moment to do something that was very in character, I felt like, in trying to utilize your performance skill to replicate what they were doing in this very martial moment and trying to make sense of it. I really liked that moment of what you decided to do with that there. That was cool.
Thank you.
Woot woot.
Mine is for Bill. It kind of like the whole session, Jubei's become the stern father. He just kind of is there in the background, watching everyone with the disapproving glare,
Judging.
and but it was a really cool moment on the top of the summit, going to hit the garden that was familiar and just relaxing, and then going in with Kai and doing the Battle Bros sauna. I imagine we didn't talk as much about it, but I imagine that would have been a really adorable but also super quiet interaction. Very little words. And...
Well, I did want to say I did take the time to talk about my culture and stuff, so you know a little bit about that.
Of course. But
Sorry.
I just thought that was really cool. You're the big beefy dudes, and it was just a really cool moment.
Then you had a bat
I figured
bat
Jubei
scene.
would just bore him with the culinary science of cooking meats and stuff.
Honestly, Kai's probably pumped about that. I imagine the cuisine on the plains is a little bland, and
You
so
know how to cook a brisket now, pretty well.
I mean,
Awesome.
yak's milk and meat on a spit out in the plains.
right.
Yep.
Sean.
So I was really torn because I appreciated everybody, and it wasn't until that very kind of end sequence of events that I really appreciated Reese and the butterfly silent image effect that you created. I had no idea where you were going with that until you said what it was. Mainly because I'm not super familiar with the spell, but also because it just fit thematically so well with how you describe a lot of your effects and spells. And I just thought it was really cool, this kind of building up moment for that. So
Yeah.
yourself stepping out of yourself.
Yes. Also, I wanted to pick something that wasn't disguise self, because every warlock picks disguise self, and I needed something different.
Yep.
Well done.
Bill.
Actually, I really enjoyed that interaction with Kai, so I'm going to give it to Kai. The opening up and him trying to be super serious about his home smelling like dirt. And, I mean, he can be proud. People are sometimes proud of the strangest things. He can be proud of his home smelling like dirt. Just own it.
Absolutely.
Thanks, man.
And last but certainly not least.
So mine's going to go to Jacob. I really enjoyed Selu this session. A couple different things. I liked you comforting Kai at the beginning, calling back to what happened last session. I loved watching you react to both the garden and the light show. That was super cool. But the big thing that I really loved was I assume it was Misty Step spell at the end of you just narrating yourself disappearing. That was super cool.
Thanks.
I loved it.
I enjoyed the way you incorporated that in there.
Thanks. I'd been waiting for a good time to utilize that in a way that didn't feel like a natural choice, and the high emotion of that moment felt like the right fit. So thanks.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah. Well done.
Yeah.
Man, very tough one for me this week. There's something beautiful from everybody. Bill, the stoic character of Jubei, cracking occasionally, and him saying just the deadpan delivery comments that are just totally offbeat humor in the best possible way. Like your home smells like dirt. Like these moments are some of my favorites with Jubei. Kai in the cave. The normal people don't do that. Like, that is one of my favorite lines from this whole episode. Selu, the Misty Step spell, hands down, just beautifully done. You know, we talked a little bit about how some of those things happened, and to see you be able to do something new that you haven't done yet is just super cool.
Thanks.
Reese, likewise, with the silent image spell, really, really cool how you step out of you. Was gorgeously done, and missed your ridiculous enthusiasm constantly.
Constant. Yep.
I actually am having a really hard time with inspiration from this session. And as I am unable to pick a single person to receive inspiration, I would like to give 1 point to everyone.
I already
Yeah,
have one.
we gonna need it because we about to
Gonna need it.
find some shit.
I don't know. Something just
Some of us-
screamed in pain.
Yeah,
Something
of
just
us already
screamed in my
have one.
mind.
this is fine.
If you already have one, then high five, bro. That's about all I got.
GG.
Yes, very much. Good game, gentlemen. Thank you for finally making it to the summit so I could describe that for you.
Yeah,
yes.
God, it was so good. So
and
good.
I was waiting for that.
You have now
Okay.
seen
If-
another.
If I may offer something, whether this bites us or not, since he already has an inspiration, I would vote that Gabe takes an inspiration to utilize at his will
I'm fine with
for
that.
this, because the whole summit thing was just
Yes.
fucking awesome. I really, really enjoyed all the lights and just the different gardens and the detail of every level as we hit it through that whole progression. It was just so cool.
Thank you so much.
What's this?
We did so well, Jacob. No
Until
one
yep,
dropped one. Just until then.
Couldn't help it. Had to come out.
Yeah. Nobody complimented the GM.
Had to come out. It was
Thank you.
Had to happen.
I am loving building Thrayne.
It's so cool.
And I'm so excited, like all the different characters you get to meet. And so the document I shared with you guys, I will update with the people you have met, so you know who is who.
Sweet.
So next, this upcoming Saturday, the 20th at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, will be the next episode of Breakfast and Dragons, where we explore some ancient Arcadian lore and recover one of Hearth's lost memories. And then March 23rd, next Tuesday, will be an episode of Shooting the Crit, our little talk show where we talk about DMing and the various challenges and excitement and wonderful things thereof.
DMing
And
as
then-
well as playing.
Yes, as well as playing. And then March 30th, we will be back to see what the heck is in this cave.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I'm quite excited.
Me?
But
Dose.
indeed. Thank you so much for tuning in. And anybody that's watching this in VOD later, thank you so much for enjoying our story for a little bit. And we'll catch you next
Yeah.
time.
Night, everybody.
Peace.
Night.